tonight's episode of Party of Two, where a married couple takes on a world of gods and monsters. See, I didn't do that one like a WWE wrestler.
No, apparently I need to count to like 8 though.
Seriously?
Yeah, it cut off the welcome to Party of Two.
It didn't used to do that. What? Okay,
Maybe
fine.
it did.
We're gonna try it again.
Remember, we used to start though with like this long, intro screen.
Oh my gosh, that's true. We stopped doing our intro screen.
So we don't know how it worked before.
That's true. Okay, we're gonna do this again. Hello, and welcome to tonight's episode of Party of Two, where a married couple takes on a world of gods and monsters. Still no WWE intro. Welcome you guys to tonight's episode. We are really excited about it. We've got some fun things. We're in the middle of an investigation, but first, we have a couple of announcements to make. Weston, take away with our announcements.
Our announcements for tonight are the same ones we've been making. Do we have anything new? Let me ask you that. Do we have anything new?
No.
Nothing we can announce
Nothing
yet.
that we can announce yet.
Yeah,
we've got some things in the works, but nothing we can announce
Nothing
yet.
announced yet. So just the reminders again, which you're starting in October.
October 29th. Calendar, schedule, do it. Pull out your phone, Siri.
Do we know what time of day yet?
We don't know what time of day yet. More than likely, it's going to be early afternoon
it'll be early afternoon.
Accommodate for our German friends.
I think originally the plan is around noon Mountain time.
Around, but yeah, don't count us on that or like.
But that just
whatever.
gives you an idea. It gives you an idea of time.
Yes, exactly. So we're doing The Witcher starting the 29th, ending December 17th, on the day that the second season comes out on Netflix, which is very exciting. Woohoo. Other announcement. Okay, here's the other announcement. I make a commitment to you guys. Making a commitment.
Okay, we're gonna have to hold her to this.
I'm gonna stare deep into the eyes of the camera. Is that okay? No, that's not working. I am going to get the rest of the podcast episodes up this week.
Yay!
I have a schedule. I know how I'm going to do it, but it's been it's kind of sat on the back burner because we have a lot of other irons in the fire with working full time and being parents. Anyway, you don't need excuses. What you need is a podcast episode out. So they will be all out, I promise, by Friday.
Especially since we're scoring high in Australia. They're in
I know.
demand.
Apparently, we're number 23 in Australia, so we
want
kind of
them.
need to.
The Aussies need to think about it. The Aussies are on lockdown pretty much. So like,
oh no, that's really
they've got
true.
nothing to do but listen to podcasts and watch shows.
We love you, Aussies, very much.
Aussie.
Anyway, so the podcasts are going to be dropped by Friday. I promise. I swear to you. My oath as a DM. I will not change the story or plot lines or anything. Wait, no, I totally will. But I'll get the podcast up.
And of course, VODs out on Fridays. We as fans of Pathfinder, we have got a hold of the playtest for the 2 new classes. I have been reading through them and studying them, and we're gonna plan some stuff.
We are gonna do some really fun things with this, and I don't know if we're gonna do an actual playtest with it or if we're just gonna build this class. But we are 100% are gonna build Dean and Sam Winchester from Supernatural. I don't know if we're actually gonna play a game with them, but we're gonna build them in Pathfinder, and I'm very excited.
So yeah, the new classes are the Thaumaturge and the Psychic. I'm very excited about the Thaumaturge. The Psychic, I think, needs some work.
Probably.
We'll deep dive into it another time.
Yeah. Anyway, do we have any other announcements? I don't believe we have any other announcements other than we have a new intro.
We do, but we're gonna give people a little bit to jump in.
Shoot, that's true. We're not going to that yet. Okay. Yes, Weston is in charge of the questions for tonight. Weston.
So my question is for Hayley. So we've got one tonight, maybe one more session before your arc will probably come to an end.
Mm-hmm.
How does it feel to know you're going to be jumping out of the DM chair?
Very excited.
And
I'm going to be totally honest, you guys. I am not a forever DM. Being a DM stresses me out really bad. And I get really overwhelmed. And then the way that I handle being overwhelmed is to lose interest in things. So this has been a very interesting practice in the last 12 sessions or so, to be totally focused and on point and know everything that's going on and randomly creating storylines because that's what my brain does. So it's been interesting. I'm very excited to just be the player.
Yeah, Ratcatcher47.
Hi, Ratcatcher.
Psychics always need work in D&D. It's interesting the way Pathfinder built it. Is they're pretty much a cantrip master. They just have tons of cantrips, and they've got the ability to add additional damage and additional conditions onto those cantrips.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It seems like a class that it doesn't have a place. Like, it doesn't serve a definitive role. So if you play that class, it's like, okay, well, what do I do in the party? I don't know. Because there's always something else.
I throw stuff at people with my mind.
Because there's always another class you could be that's better than it. Yeah. So,
but it is a play test. I mean, this is the first draft of these classes. So,
and I know the summoner and the magus got changed quite a bit.
Magus. It's Magus. If it's haggis, it's Magus. I'm sorry, they are spelt the same.
Okay. There's some point you bring there.
I have a good point.
If Magus is Magus, hey, you just did it to mine.
No, Magus. Haggis. Magus. There we go. Stop it! You're confusing me. Okay. Anyway. Okay. So. Do we have any? Okay.
What about Sean Bean?
Hi, John.
I don't quite understand the question, John.
Sean Bean. Sean Bean is a wonderful actor.
Who's always
someone we really like. He always dies. What do we?
Magus. Yeah, Magus.
Magus, though. Sean Bond.
How do you say it?
Bean. Sean. Okay. I get it now. Now, you wouldn't say Bean, though, because there's a W. Bon.
Yeah, it'd be Bon.
Mon. Sean.
It's okay.
Bean. Oh my gosh, Kay, we are like totally going on the rails here.
This is Haggis, Magus. You see, Haggis has two G's. Haggis has two G's.
But the G's don't make the A long.
Yeah, but the A, vowel, consonant, vowel, makes the A
vowel,
long.
Consonant, vowel.
Makes the A long. Haggis has vowel, consonant, vowel. You're an English major.
Okay, I'm not I was a creative writing major, not a grammatical copy editor major.
We can ask your mother.
Yes,
because your mother is intense.
I know the general consensus is it is Magus.
No,
Magus. The one that I don't say right.
Magus.
Is the one that most people, okay, whatever.
And
this is a fun conversation.
I win again.
Moving on.
Right.
But that is the answer to that question. Is
you're excited to get back in the player seat.
I am excited to be back in the player seat and to really play with Ana because I haven't gotten to play with her in 2 months, 3 months, 2.5 months. So like
this will be session 13?
Mm-hmm. So almost 3 months.
Yep. I'm excited to get back in the DM chair.
I know. Well, that's going to be my question to you. We are switching.
Yep, we are.
Are you?
And I'm excited for the arc.
But not only that, you are switching into this chair as the DM for our campaign, but also for the Witcher campaign that's coming up.
I get a DM 2 different campaigns at the same time.
And we're playing in Skellige, which is really exciting.
And the Witcher combat
how's your Scottish accent, though? Right?
Right. My Scottish accent is not very good. Not like yours.
Well, I don't know if I can do it with how much I've done the French accent recently.
I don't know. French is really... I have to work on it.
You sound really good. You sound like Gerard Butler, and we should just need to listen to a lot of How to Train Your Dragon.
Yes. That actually is a pretty good
That is it. There. This is almost as valid of an argument as tiefling versus tiefling. People pronounce it tiefling?
Of course, it's how you pronounce it.
You don't say it that way. It's tiefling. Why would you ever pronounce it tiefling?
Because some people...
No. Okay. So, okay. We are going to go into a little bit of grammatics right here.
Oh, geez.
T-I-E in German, you pronounce the second letter in the I-E combo. So if it's I-E, you pronounce the E. If it's E-I, you pronounce the I. So if it was supposed to be tiefling, it would be T-E-I. F-L-I-N-G.
If it's a German root.
If it's a German root word. I don't know if it is or not. Tiefling, if you're
Tiefling. It's a tiefling.
Exactly.
I'm a
exactly.
tiefling.
But that is Ratcatcher. I had no idea that was even a debate. I've always heard it tiefling. I've never heard it any other way.
I kind of want to play a southern tiefling now.
Southern?
I'm tiefling. No, but you want to be the like bad accents.
I think Tief is darkness. Hold on. We're going to ask Siri. Siri, what is the German word for darkness?
I didn't find that.
Darkness is Dunkelheit.
Dunkelheit.
Wait. I know
Hold on.
I've done a lot of German to English translations as I've been working on my spells.
Dunkelheit is correct, but
There are generally more than one word.
Dunkel. I think Dunkel would be the Dunkel would be darkness. Siri, what is dark in German?
In German.
Yeah.
Darkness.
Dankes. Dunkel.
It's T-I-E.
Dunkel. Okay.
That's oh no.
Tief? Tief. T-I-E-F.
Deep. It's deep. It's not
deep.
dark, it's deep.
Deep. Oh.
It's a
deep.
deepling in a way. Instead of a darkling, it's a deepling.
Oh my gosh, you guys. The things we talk about.
Yeah. Catcher. Thank you for coming on the stream, making it really interesting.
This has been fun. This is not normally our beginnings. We've changed our beginning a little bit. So thank you for making it fun and interesting.
All right, are you ready to jump into tonight?
We have a brand new, never before seen intro for your watching pleasures. And legitimately, you guys, we love feedback. So if you love it, tell us. If you hate it, tell us. Just be nice if you don't like it.
Constructive feedback.
Constructive Carita says, do the Oreo. Say one nice thing, one thing you don't like, and then another nice thing.
Because everyone likes Oreos.
Is true. All right,
especially
roll
double
that
stuffed.
tape, Mr. Video Man.
All right, and here we go.
Welcome back. So last time that we left our band of intrepid adventurers.
We're in a band with two people.
Okay, I know, that's why it was a joke. I was saying it as a joke. Last time we left Az and Andoriana, they had a very interesting series of events. First, Az woke up in the morning having a sudden, almost identity crisis of trying to decide whether or not he was going to go meet his birth mother at the docks to speak with her one last time before she left for Vire. Coming to Andoriana's room in the early hours of the morning, he cast a zone of truth so that she could ask him the question, do you want to go meet with your mother? After this little encounter, the pair of them were whisked off to the Domina's estate to be called upon as spies and investigators for an incident that happened during the night to the Cloven Hoof Society. It had been attacked and 3 of its members murdered and brutally dismembered. Yeah, they were dismembered. Do you not remember that part?
I saw bloodstains.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, they were brutally dismembered.
DM gives off clues.
Sorry. And the queen asked for your special assistance with rooting out a possible mole within the court at the night's ball later that evening. You were joined by Captain Frederick Rogers, who took you into the city to the Cloven Hoof Society to investigate what was going on. While there, you discover the bodies had been taken by someone that was not a member of the guards, although they pretended to be. And the idea was floated about when you met with a member of the Bellflower Network that this was not the work of the Nightwing organization as the Queen thought. This was most likely an organization that was posing as the Nightwing to throw members off of their trail. After meeting with a couple of tieflings in the street who had been witness to the crime, they led you to an area of the, the name of the area of the city. The
Devil's
Nursery. The Devil's Nursery, which is a name given to an area of in Kintargo where a lot of tieflings live. They took you to an area that looked strangely familiar. The home itself looked like something you had encountered before. The construction looked similar. The shrubs in the front of the home and the coloring of gold and green just struck you as familiar. And as the three tieflings were ushered into the home after knocking on the door, an old friend met you, Alea. The mysterious and extremely powerful woman that you had met early in after getting out of Cheliax. So that's where we will begin. Alea is standing in the doorway, step back slightly, inviting you into the home that now you understand why it looked so freaking familiar.
One quick thing. Just a quick reminder before we jump into it to our viewers that you can use channel points. You can use 500 channel points in order to award a hero point to either one of the heroes, either on Dodiana or Aas, for a re-roll on a D20 roll.
Yes, and each character can have up to 3 hero points to do a re-roll. So feel free to use your channel points on that as the evening progresses. So Alea is standing there and has just said to you, "It is good to see you again, Aas. And remember, you are still invisible."
I thought I dropped the... Oh, no, she saw through my invisibility.
She saw through your invisibility.
As will then, having her seen this, he will drop his invisibility.
And you see her smile just gets much bigger.
A little useless there. Well, I will say that I am surprised. The house is here now.
Not exactly the same, but yes, it is. Why don't you come in and we can discuss things?
Danke.
And she nods at Ana and says, "It's also good to see you, my dear." And Ana just kind of smiles and is like, "It's really weird that you're here, but it's kind of good to see you." And you both move into the home.
Oh, did the horse come back?
Yes. Yes, and he did tell me you named him Siegfried?
Yeah. We needed a name for him.
It's a good strong name. He enjoys it. So he has been insisting I call him Siegfried from now on. So you did very good. So come in.
Yes.
So you come into the home. It looks very similar to the home. Everything looks very similar to what you had seen before, but things are slightly different. The placement of
it's not
the
like the
stairs is
house
different.
like dimensionally.
No,
moved.
they didn't
Okay.
dimension door. She didn't dimension door the house into this area. It's just very, very
This isn't
similar.
the mansion from anything like that.
This isn't a special mansion, no, that you can just open. But there is a very nice and very comfortable sitting area where the 3 tieflings have already sat down, and there is what looks to be lunch that she somehow managed to know that you guys would want. And it is spread out throughout on the coffee table in the front with like sandwiches, like small finger sandwiches, and like a beautiful spread of cheese and nuts and meats and drinks that are already there. Just super, super yummy yummies. And the 3 tieflings are already kind of tucked in. You can see that they are very comfortable with where they are.
So as we'll walk in and kind of look back at Alea and then look at the teams. It appears that we have the same taste in friends.
Yes, you do. And the tiefling with the red skin and the very long horns.
Which I do look different than I did when they saw me. Because I looked like...
Oh my gosh, you're right. I had
Yes.
forgotten about that. Yes, so as soon as you step into the room, there is this kind of pause, but Ana still looks the same.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of, all three of them stop and look at you and look at Alea. And Alea just kind of nods and puts a hand up like, it's okay, it's okay. And Anna's going to say, it's all right. We're the same people. This is Az, and I'm still Ana. I'm not any different than I was before. So, yes.
Sorry for the subterfuge. My look seems to gather attention, and I preferred not to be noticed there.
The tiefling with the dark red skin says, you were hiding yourself. That is not something I would pretend to not understand. And she sits back and she looks at Alea and she says, as long as you, Mistress Alea, are fine with this, then we are fine with you as well. And the two other tieflings nod, and Alea says, have you all been formally introduced, or is this...
Not really. Kind of a rushed introduction.
Okay. Please sit.
Yeah.
And she's motioning to you and Ana, and then she looks at the three tieflings and she points to the first with the dark red skin and says, this is Imar. She came to us just a few years ago. She was also a runaway from Cheliax, though not a slave. She was treated very poorly, and so was then brought here by a few members of the Bellflower Network. And the other two, this is Grecia and Aviva. They are sisters, twin sisters, in fact. And you can see that now that she's told you that they both have the same colored kind of violet skin.
Violet skin, okay.
And their horns are almost identical to each other. But they don't look exactly like each other, but they're not fraternal twins. They're identical twins that are not
Okay, yeah.
totally,
I get that.
totally identical. So, and all three of them kind of nod, and Ana says, well, you know me, I'm Ana. And she kind of looks at Alea. She's like, I was employed in Cheliax, and I came with Az, and we were working with the Bellflower Network to bring a few they weren't really freed, they were just slaves, and we were bringing them anyway, we were working with the Bellflower Network, and we are now here.
Yes, as I said, my name is Az. I was a slave in Cheliax for my whole life, and a member and covert agent of the Bellflower Network. We recently had to leave my posting, and now are here in Quintargo. We have a hole in our organization here that I am hoping to help fill.
And the Imar, when you say that you were a slave, her kind of eyebrows go up, and she like sits back slightly, kind of surprised by this, and she says, "Where were you? Where were you in Kentucky, in Cheliax?"
Most of my life in the capital.
I am sorry. That is not a life that I would give on anyone.
No. Hence the reason why I became a member of the network.
It is a good network to be a part of. And she kind of looks at Alea and says, if they are members of the network, then are they here to help with the investigation, whatever?
Yes, we are. I made contact this morning with one of the agents here in the city. We have been given to understand that this organization that wants to pretend that they are the Nightwings are most likely the culprits, who also appear to be causing problems for your organization.
They have been harassing us for months at this point. At first, we thought it was the Nightwing, but it didn't make any sense. And she looks to Alea, kind of like, can you help, like, a little bit
details,
of a pleading,
yeah.
like, can you give the details of this? And Alea kind of puts a hand. At this point, she's also sat down next to Amar, and she puts a hand on her shoulder and says, and just kind of nods and says, "It's all right, I'll explain." The network has been working with the Clovenhoof Society for a very long time to get tieflings out of Cheliax and move them farther north where they will be better received. Over the last few months, we've noticed our caravans and our movements have been tracked. The way that we knew this at first was because things were beginning to go missing. Things of import like maps and items that were of magical nature that were being moved with the tieflings themselves. At first we thought it was just possible rogue scoundrel-like individuals who were following along or had somehow integrated themselves within the network. But things began to escalate when people began to go missing. There was always signs of struggle. These people were not going willingly.
So first they began by taking the items.
Yes.
And then moved to people?
Yes.
That is a strange change.
It is, if we don't understand the motives, but I have a feeling when they were stealing things of smaller import, they were testing. They were testing how the network would respond, testing how the individuals within the network would respond, who was easier targets than others. This is the first time that they have attacked in such a brazen way. However, not the first time they have left bodies.
They must not have begun with the networks. Do they appear to have any other influence or activities here in the city?
Not that we can tell. However, I have a theory. And she kind of looks at the three halflings the three tieflings and
Tieflings?
Tieflings. The tieflings. And she says to Amar, do you need a drink? Actually, let me go get something for that cut on your shoulder. Just a moment. And she stands up and begins walking back and turns and looks at you and just goes like this.
And as will let me assist with that, I have medical training.
Anna sits there and she saw the same thing, but she sits there and she's like, "Do you want me to come with you?"
Just can't put the hand up.
Okay, so she
I'm
sits down
I'm gonna
and
try
she
to do that
grabs...
covertly. Do I need to
do a stealth roll for me.
First roll of the night
That
is
is
a 13 plus 10, 23.
Okay, so the tieflings don't see. Amar is kind of deep in a sandwich, really, and she's kind of looking over to Grecia, and so it's not... They don't see that little interchange. So you get up and move with Alea, and she goes into a very large kitchen area, and she stands at one of the cabinets and turns to you as you come into the room, and she says, "I think this goes significantly farther than just the tieflings."
And why do you not want them to know?
They have just been through a significant trauma. They're acting like they are fine. They are not. I know Amar is a very strong woman, as are Grecia and Aviva, but all three of them, they have been through so much at this point. I don't want them to worry about anything else. I have situations for them outside of the city that I can get them to very quickly. I just don't want them to have to worry about all of this as well.
I will trust your judgment.
Thank you. I've been monitoring a situation outside of Ravenel.
Mm-hmm.
Something that started up north. No specific location, but there were rumors. Rumors of abled individuals disappearing and then showing up dead days, sometimes weeks later, with obvious signs of physical trauma, cuts, bruises, stab wounds, sometimes dismemberment. I have a feeling this is all connected.
When you say north, do you mean Varesia? Do you mean Nigal?
Nidal?
Nidal?
Through Nidal, up into Varesia, even over in Taldor. There are places, like I said, that's not specific to any one location. The thing that ties them all together is that they are either of angelic, celestial, or demonic blood.
They are extraplanar.
Yes. They are Asmir or Tiefling.
What of Dustwalkers or Fey-touched?
The reports that I've been getting have been very specific to the Asmir and the Tieflings.
The Celestial and Infernal.
Yes.
Interessante. That's Spanish.
That is very Spanish.
Yeah. That's just me talking.
So that's why I don't want to worry them, is that they may be concerned that it's not just this city, and it isn't just this city. However,
You do not need them afraid everywhere.
no. And I can't figure out the part that connects everyone.
But there are enough to see the beginnings of a pattern.
When there is a group of people as rare as you, it is very obvious when one goes missing.
Do you think this is human extremists? Purists? Something of that nature?
I don't know. Whoever is in charge, whoever is doing this is doing it very quietly.
We are involved in this, to be honest, less from the network and more from the Domina. We were able to connect with a member of the court and be introduced to the Domina, and now have been pulled into her service. And this is how she wishes us to serve. We could look into the deaths, bodies found. You said that those that were killed up north, they found the bodies.
Yes, they found them days, sometimes weeks after they had disappeared.
But we are not finding tiefling bodies throughout the city.
No.
At least not that we know.
Not that have been reported, but within this community, they would know. No bodies have shown up, but there have been people missing.
So where are the bodies, is the question.
I don't know. They could possibly be smuggling them out of the city to go elsewhere for who knows why. Or they could be holding them all hostage at some place within the city.
The bodies at the house were taken. Not by the guards. Not by the authorities.
No, they were not.
So they wanted the bodies, or there were markings on the bodies that would provide more information, and they didn't want it known.
I have a feeling that's more online. It's very difficult to investigate a murder if there's no body to investigate.
That can be the case.
Who is the member of court?
Sir Michael. He makes dresses. More of a merchant than a noble. But he makes the dresses for the Domina and has known her for many years. So there is a personal connection. More so than a power within the court. His daughter is an Azamir. And so I was able to ingratiate myself into the house.
I now know who you're talking of.
Trying to teach her to keep her halo hidden.
I'm sure that she greatly appreciates that. All right. I don't know how much else I can give you.
Yeah.
Honestly, this has all come as a bit of a shock. We didn't expect, and when I say we, I mean the Bellflower Network itself, we did not expect this to happen.
Why would Terra have been working or connecting with them?
More than likely, Terra has gotten herself mixed up in something significantly bigger than what we had expected originally. We knew she was investigating the Nightwing. It's possible she stumbled upon whatever this is.
How long have you been in this city?
Not long. I came only a few nights ago.
Yeah. Well, we most likely should get back. They are probably wondering where we are, and I would like to ask them some questions.
Yes, no, absolutely. Do you... And she turns around and she grabs a small potion bottle out of the cupboard and looks at you and says, do you need any healing or...
Not at the moment, but more is always useful.
All right. And she hands you a minor healing potion.
Crap.
And then also reaches over and grabs a couple of more bottles and walks out of the kitchen to a scene that you would have kind of expected if you had really thought about it.
Are they being weird with Ana?
But, no. Ana has now moved seats to one closer, and she has invited into the house, not asking for permission, Bruce.
Yeah.
Who is now coming in, who has come in and is now sitting down. His tail is wagging, his little nubby tail is wagging back and forth, and he's kind of flitting between each of the women and being a general flirt. And Ana is
squitches.
Yes, he's getting lots of squitches from everyone. But Ana, you can tell, is much more at ease with Bruce in the house. And Alea turns and says, sees this and is like, Oh, he is beautiful. Who is this sweet little thing? And she walks over and gets down on the floor, and Bruce immediately turns to her and freezes. Full on. And Anna's kind of like, this is Bruce. This is my baby. Bruce, come over and say hi. And he is
leery.
He does not want to move forward at all. And Anna's like, Bruce, what are you doing? Move over here.
With the level of magic of this lady, she probably recognized this is not technically a dog of this plane.
Yeah, technically. But he is refusing, and you can't hear what he's saying to Anna, but she's silent for a second, and then she says, no, that is ridiculous. Get over here right now. And he kind of, tail between the legs and ears down, slinks towards Anna and won't move past her to Alea. And Alea just stands up and she says, it's all right, dear. It's fine. Most dogs don't like me. It's okay. And then she goes to sit down and hands one of the healing potions over to Amar and one to Grekia and says, please drink those. I have more if you need them. Aviva, you didn't look like you had been injured at all in the encounter. How are you all right? And she nods and she's like, yeah, no, I'm fine. So, Az, you had a few questions?
Yes. First, your shoulder. May I see?
Of course.
I am. And he's going to pull out his healer's kit and stuff like that and kind of show, and, and I'll do a medicine check.
Okay.
That's a 19.
Nice.
Plus my 11. So that's a 30. So definitely succeed on that.
It's not a superficial cut, but it's also not a deep wound either. It's cut through a few like the layers of skin and into the first layer of muscle, but it's more than likely going to scar unless she takes a potion.
How did you get this?
I was running. We heard the screaming at first, and the room just down from us, there was all of this commotion, and as I came out of my room at the end of the hall to run down the stairs, there was a dark figure that came out, and he slashed at me with what looked like a rapier of some type, and I managed to get out of the way of one swipe, but the other, as I was running down the hall, that one, he managed to connect it.
Okay. Yeah. So as you're gonna look at it, so he can probably tell from the slice, blade weapon, sharp. And okay, so she identifies it as a rapier. That tells us something.
Yeah.
Yes. So he's gonna do some medicine, of course, on it. And while he's doing that, he is going to just kind of chat with them as he's doing that. So, how long have you all been in Cantargo?
I've been here for not too long, a couple of months. I was still looking for work. The Cloven Hoof Society was helping, giving me a place to stay until I was able to find something. I was working just temporarily at the docks, just doing this or that, whatever was available. And Grecia and Aviva say, or Grecia says, well, Aviva and I were working as housemaids for one of the rich merchants just outside of the grain district, and it wasn't much, but it was working for us.
And you can see she's kind of like deflating, like the adrenaline of everything that was going on. She's starting to deflate down from where they were, and you can see her face is getting kind of saggy a little bit, and her whole body is like, you can tell like all the adrenaline is wearing off, and she's going into major exhaustion. And Aviva says,
we were looking for a place to live, though we had a place lined up, but they just decided that they didn't want to rent to someone like us, so we had to move on to something else. But we hoped very soon that we would get something nice.
Well, we will see if maybe I can help with that. So I got Grecia and Aviva, and then what's the other one?
Amar, Aimar.
So all women.
All women. Mm-hmm. Amar is has very beautiful dark red skin, and Grecia and Aviva are twins with the lavender violet colored skin.
And there are 3 of you. How many were in the house?
We weren't quite full, so.
And this is Aviva talking.
Okay.
So, maybe 7 or 8 of us at the time. I mean, of course, the administrative staff of the Cloven Hoof Society were there as well. There was a special meeting. Something was going on that night. I wasn't totally sure what was happening. Grecia and I had a assignment that night at the home that we work at, so we weren't there until later in the evening.
I asked this knowing that it's been a very traumatic day, but where are the staff?
I assumed most of them had left.
And Amar kind of breaks in, and she says, the staff had their meeting, and then they all left, I believe.
And they have not come back today?
Honestly, in all of the chaos, I haven't seen anyone. it was once the attack happened, it was like everything disappeared. Everyone disappeared.
And as you know, we are all in the same business here. Would you feel comfortable giving who's in charge of the location?
The person who is currently running the Clovenhoof Society is Anduri. Anduri is he is not a tiefling himself, but he is a sympathizer, and he has worked very hard to make sure that we have good seating and footing within in society. There's Florina. Florina is in charge of helping us find work studies, or just assistantships, or mentoring, things like that. And the person who was kind of the jack of all trades, as it were, was Hemberg.
Hemberg?
Hemberg kind of did a little bit of everything, and he was the one here the most. He was a person that was very kind to all of us, and he would help us in any way that he could. I don't know much of it. And she looks at Graki and Aviva, and she said, I never really heard his story, or who he was, or what was going on. And they both kind of raised their shoulders.
All human?
No, Floriana is, she is a tiefling, and Hamburg was also a tiefling.
Andri, he well off? Merchant? Do we know where?
He always did seem to have the money he needed to keep the place running. He was working very hard, and he seemed to have many donors that he was able to connect with on a regular basis. So it seemed like he was well off, maybe?
But we do not know where he might be found.
No.
Ja.
No, like I said, we have not seen anyone since the attack.
No surname for Andori?
Not that I know of. I'm sorry. I'm sure he has one. It's just when you don't get information given, you normally don't ask.
It is fine. It is fine. Well, thank you very much. You didn't see, so other than, after, the meeting they left, and didn't see anything strange before the attack?
There was, in the meeting that was being held, it wasn't just the staff. I mean, there were many other people that were there. There was a heated argument at one time, but we were upstairs and going to bed, and we had work in the morning. It was not like... And then she suddenly stopped. She's like, we had work in the morning. I did not show, and I did not go to... And Alea reaches a hand out, and she says, it's all right. I've already told everyone involved with the Clovenhoof Society. Everything is okay. You don't need to worry about your job. You will be staying here until we can get you out of the city, all right? And she kind of pauses for a minute, and Amar says, are you sure? And Alea just kind of nods, and she takes Amar's hand, and she says, everything is going to be fine.
Well, this shoulder looks better now.
Yeah, it's a thank you very much. And she kind of moves her shoulder around a little bit, and both of them just kind of... It is much better, thank you. Alea, though, does say, you do need to take the potion too there, don't you?
Yes.
And she's like, okay. And so she tugs it back, and you see the what you've experienced on many occasions is the potion moves through her system, and you see as the wound itself closes up and kind of smooths over, and through the next 10 minutes or so, it will eventually completely disappear.
Okay, so they don't really know much, and they're just kind of like, well, thank you very much. We will continue to investigate this. Alea, may I get you for a moment? And he's gonna kind of walk to the other side of the room, kind of back where they looked wet before to get stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and as you walk away, Anna is prompting Bruce to go over and kind of play with the ladies again. She's found a way into their hearts, apparently.
Yes. the doggy will always do that.
Yes, beautiful kind of corsos. Okay.
So once we get, wave, do you know these people, the ones that were in charge?
I don't know Florina, but I do know Andore. He is on the up and up, 100%.
Yes, but if he was in charge, he might. Sounds like this meeting was because they knew something was up.
More than likely.
And so he most likely might have details leading up to this, threats made, demands made. Protection money not paid.
No, you're right. He probably would.
Where would I find him?
At the moment, I would need to do a scrying spell or something to try and find him. I haven't seen him since I came into town. And the fact that they all scattered after the attack itself and that he is not here worries me.
None of them are here.
No.
We are missing 5 tieflings and all the staff.
And we still don't know who the 3 were that were killed.
Which means there are 2 unaccounted for. 3 dead, 2 missing. Staff haven't come back this morning.
No. There is no benefit, however, in killing them. They were not politically influential. They aren't individuals that make sense to kill.
Unless you simply want to cripple the organization.
The only person in that group that would have been crippling is Andore. He has a very long history with the city, with the Cloven Hoof Society. He would know most of the people that would be connected to it.
And if he was dead, the society will take time to recover. And during that time, they can do whatever they want with all the tieflings and Asimirs. Which I'll need to mention this to Michael.
Yes.
She is the only other Asimir in this city.
That you know of.
Yes. We tend to bring attention.
It's true. It is true.
Especially if the reaction of the court was any indication.
I have a personal question to ask of you.
Of course.
You met your mother.
And you know this how?
I've kept an eye on you. I wanted to make sure you were safe.
Well, yes, that is the case.
Are you all right?
No, but there is work to do.
I would just like to say, as one mother who lost a child, don't take too long to unfreeze your frozen heart. If she disappears, you will never get a chance.
If she disappears, it'll be life like it's been. And he's going to walk out of that area back into the main room to get away from that conversation as fast as possible.
All right. Well, Anna
and
is
the mommy
there.
GM keeps wanting to push this.
You just have a lot of mothers that surround you. I'm just saying.
Apparently.
So Anna is there playing with Bruce and the 3 tieflings, and as you
as we get out there, he is going to ask, where of those that are missing, are you all women?
What do you mean?
Well, you 3, you are women. Was there any male tieflings in the house?
Yes. Yes, and Aviva is the one answering to this one. She says, yes, there was one male tiefling.
Oh, only one. Oh, okay.
It wasn't... Normally, we didn't see very many male tieflings in what we were doing. Most of the male tieflings, we have a feeling it was easier for them to get work. So they would not be here for very long.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
That is interesting. Okay.
Okay. And Anna stands up and looks at you and says, so, are we going?
Well, I imagine we must get back to the captain.
Yes, of course. And she kind of nods at Amar, Grecia, and Aviva and says to them, it was wonderful to meet you. And all three of them kind of smile a little bit, and Amar says, it was nice to meet you as well, and especially you, Bruce. And she gives him little screeches, and all three of them kind of like flower him with kisses and whatnot. And then he kind of trots over to, like, all high up on his high horse. He all trots over to Anna, staying as far away from Alea as he possibly can.
As is going to, he turns to Alea. Alea, I know that you are very skilled. Especially with our conversations, it is. I would prefer not to be so noticeable walking around town, but I am currently out of spell capacity to change my appearance. Would you be able to help me? Simply,
Yes.
less Azamir.
Do you have a preference?
Simply darken the hair, darken the skin.
All right.
And she reaches a hand out and she just kind of touches your shoulder, mutters a few words underneath her, and you feel this wave come out of her hand into your body. And starting from the top all the way down, you transform into someone who actually has longer, dark brown hair. Your skin has tanned 4 or 5 degrees. You look like your sister during the summertime.
Okay.
So you have very nicely tanned skin at this point, and you have your eye color has also changed. It's gone into a very deep chocolatey brown.
All right, cool.
Based on appearance, there is no way anyone would be able to recognize you at this point.
That works. But I
and
still kind of look like myself.
you look like
feature.
yourself, and she didn't change your bone structure or anything like that. So yeah, you still look at like yourself that way. But she just say,
This will last until you don't want it anymore.
Well, thank you.
So when you no longer need it, just think it way.
And as will, I mean, I imagine, he can feel the magics there. And
yeah, it's
be
almost
acquainted
like a very, very gentle vibration covering your body.
Thank you very much. We will let you will you be in town? I imagine if you're going to be helping them, that you will be in town at least for a little while.
Yes, and there may be a possibility that I will be at the ball in the evening.
Really?
I was invited. That is why I am here.
By
Julia.
Well, that is interesting. What is your connection to the Domina?
I was friends with her family in Taldor when they escaped Cheliax.
Well,
I've known her since she was a very young girl.
well then, we will look forward to seeing you there.
Of course. Have a good day.
And she kind of ushers you and Anna out the door, and Bruce zooms straight out of the house to get away, and then trots around a little bit, and the two of you leave the house.
As they walk out and they get a little bit farther from the house, Az turns back, looks at the house, looks at Anna.
That was weird, right?
I do not know what that woman is.
Well, wait. What do you mean?
I do not think she's human.
Why?
Her level of ability seems beyond that of most, and she just informed me that she's known the Domina since she was young. Very young. And she does not look old enough.
She looks like your age.
Yeah. I don't know what she is. I'm glad she's on our side.
Well, apparently.
Because I would not want to go up against that. I know magic and that house vibrates.
Well, maybe she's just a very strong magic user. Maybe it's an illusion. Maybe she doesn't really look like that. Maybe she's like old and decrepit.
I would not be surprised if she does not look like that. What did Bruce say to you?
Oh, I was telling him to come here, and he said, I will not go closer. And I said, get over here. And he basically just whined at me.
Yeah.
He didn't want to get any closer to Alea. I just figured it's because maybe she's just not a dog person, and he could tell.
Animals can tell things, and he is also not a normal dog. He's magical.
Should I ask him what she is? Do you think he'd know? Bruce! And she calls Bruce over in front, and Bruce sits down, and he's like, so, as a reminder, you can't hear this part of the conversation.
Yep.
But Bruce sits down and says, no, it's fine. But he says, right, yeah. You treats? Do you have treats? And she's like, no, I don't have treats. Why do you always think I have treats? I never have treats for you. I'm like, well, I can always keep trying.
Does he
right?
ask for treats generally?
And she looks at you and said, he asks for treats all the time. And I never have them. When are we gonna go get doggy treats? Never. Exactly. Bruce, I have a question for you. He's like, yeah, right. And she kind of looks at you and she's like, right, so what is Alea? And he kind of stiffens and says, she's not right. That's what she is. What do you mean she's not right? She acts like one thing, she's something else, but then that something else isn't right either. It's just, can we never see her again, please? And Anna says, well, I can't guarantee that, Bruce, but thank you, darling. I don't have, and she looks at you and she said, do you have any treats? Do you have an apple? Bruce, would you like an apple? And Bruce kind of snuffs. I don't want an apple.
What did he say?
He said that she's one thing, but that thing is wrong, and that the other thing is also wrong.
Could you ask him if that thing is human? Does it smell human?
Yeah. Bruce, darling, you just heard his question. Is it human? Does she smell like a human? And Bruce kind of sits for a second and thinks, and his ears are kind of like doing the twitchy thing, and he's kind of doing the head cock a little bit. He is not Scooby-Doo. Oh my gosh. But he says, sort of. She kind of smells like human, but not quite human. Almost like she's both human and not human at the same time. And Anna relays that to you. So I don't know what it means.
I do not know either. But again, I am glad at the moment to not poke that bear.
I agree. If you're getting that much off of her, honestly, I'm not a magic user, so I don't feel anything most of the time. I mean, when I connect with Pharasma, I do, but otherwise...
There's difference, yeah.
Yes.
Then, let us go. I'm sure the captain is wondering what the heck happened to us.
Yes, and you guys have been kind of, like, you were walking that direction the whole time, and it's just a couple of more minutes, and you guys do end up kind of coming around the corner and getting to where the street, that main street, where it all kind of went down.
As I walk back to that street, can I roll a perception check to see if there's anyone who seems like they're paying a little too much attention to the house?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's 14 plus 13, 27.
Okay. You see the mass amount of people that are still kind of there, they're starting to disappear and leave slowly on the edges, but there is still that core group that is right in front of the house.
Okay.
And nobody really stands out to you very much, but there is a very strong kind of curious energy that's hanging out in front of the building. And you do see that the two guards are there. Both of them looked ripped up one side and down the other by Captain Rogers, by the captain. And yes, and you oh my gosh. Get all your jokes out. If you would like to make jokes in the chat, feel free.
Captain Rogers.
Anyway, the captain he's not out in the front where he had been before, and you can just assume he's inside somewhere.
As walks is going to walk up and say, "Attention! There is the captain."
And both of the guards are going to kind of like jump a little bit and then see a completely different looking human being. Uh-huh. And they're going to be like, "Wait, who are you?" And Anna says, he's with me. Remember me from earlier? And the one that you had been talking with the most is just kind of, yeah, I remember you.
And I'm like, I do not have time for this. The captain, where did he go? Rogers.
And he still doesn't say anything. He looks over at Anna. He's like, it really is okay. Where's the captain? And he kind of nods over his head and says, "Captain's inside."
And he walks past them.
And Anna's like, you could be a little nicer.
I don't want them
You
to
look
think
completely different than you did before.
I know, and I want to keep completely different.
Okay, whatever. You know you're going to have to tell the captain who you are.
Of course. I expected to.
All right. And you kind of go into the recesses of the house, and you find the captain. He's actually upstairs in the area where the murder had happened, up there where the blood sprays all over the walls and whatnot. And he's kind of doing what looks like to be some type of like a walk, like trying to figure out the positions of the people who had been in the room.
Yeah, he's trying to do some CSI work.
He's trying to do forensics, and he's not very good at it.
Take him off like that.
He's like, it's time for an investigation. No, I'm just kidding.
As walks up, Captain. Which he saw me as an Asimir, so he at least would the features would be somewhat just
a little bit. But Anna's actually going to stop you before going in, and she's going to say, "Let me go first, please." Thank you. And she goes in and says, "Captain, do not be alarmed. Az had to change what he looks like, so this is still Az. It's just he looks different." And then you can walk in with that.
So then I walk in with my longer hair, I guess now.
Yeah.
Like how long? How long are we talking?
It's like here.
Oh wow, yeah, it went long hair there. Captain, your thoughts?
He's just kind of looks at you for a minute, and just like, the hair suits you. You should keep it. And then he turns around and he's looking at the door. He's like, well, from everything that I can understand, the person was lying on the bed. Most likely, this was a completely surprise attack. This was a complete surprise attack.
One of them.
Throat was slit immediately. Throat was slat. It was slit, and the person probably died out in mere moments. But then the body had to have been moved onto the floor to create this drag to the door. And
soon afterward, it couldn't have been left for long.
No.
The other stain appears to have been they woke up. It's in the same room, right? The two. There's the one out in the at the chair.
Yeah, there's one in the chair downstairs.
And then there was the one. Are they in two different rooms?
They're in two different rooms. Okay. So there's one in the top room on the left side. Or that's like the very first room, and then the other one's on the right side in the back, like the back room.
It appears that I imagine this one was killed first, and then the across the whole herd and was disturbed in some way because they appeared to have...
There was more of a struggle in that one. And he
Yeah.
walks across the hall and goes into the other room. And he says, there's significantly more struggle in this room than there was in the other. So most likely your idea is correct.
However,
The question is, though,
the one at the chair.
the one in the chair, you and I both agree that one was most likely tortured before they were killed.
Which means...
So how could they have done that without alerting the entire house?
Well, they come up here, they incapacitate this one, while 2 others go to the other rooms. Kills the one without struggle, the other one a little bit of struggle, and then they come back to continue their work on the one in the front.
But there were 4 other people.
Are there rooms downstairs or only up here?
No, they're only up here. There are 4 other people up here.
The girls.
The girls. What girls?
Oh, we located 3 tieflings from the society and discussed with them.
And you didn't want me to be there with you. Okay.
You draw attention. People know who you are.
But sometimes that's a good thing. It gets information out of most people.
It scares these ones. It would have made them clam up.
Well, what did they... what information did they give you?
One moment. I want to explore something. And I'm going to cast message to
Okay.
Alea. She's within distance, I know. And I imagine she can cast message back.
I guess you'll find out.
And he'll say, Alea, would you be able to ask the girls where they slept last night?
There's a pause, probably a little long. And then you do hear Alea's voice
Yeah, I
back.
imagine she's high enough spellcaster.
Yeah, she can do that. And she says,
Grecia and Aviva were up on the left, and Amar was on the right. And that's it.
2 on the one side, but the did each room have
there
2
were
sets of big
there were 2
bunk?
sets of doors. So there were 2 rooms on either side.
Yes.
So the deaths happened in the first room on the left and the last room on the right. And there are 2 rooms on either side. So
then the
Aviva and
girls
Grecia
ran.
were on this one, and then Amar was in this one.
And then the girls
The deaths
ran,
happened in
which
that
is
one.
how the one got cut. Okay.
Yeah. Because Amar came out of her room and then ran and was cut. And Grecia and Aviva came from back here and ran.
Az is then going to cast message one more time. He's gonna,
Is this a cantrip?
Yes.
Okay. I'm like, you're not using spell slots for this, right?
No, there's
Okay.
cantrips. One last question. I know that one of them was cut. How many people did they see invading the house?
Okay. And then there's pause, quiet. And then the response back is,
At least 2.
And then,
so you relay this to...
yeah, I'm going to relay these to Captain Rogers.
Am I not going to ever live that down?
Not till
Is this like Pavon?
Not till that NPC's gone
my
from the storyline. They're like, cop.
Oh my gosh, you cannot call him Cap. You cannot. I am putting a kibosh on that right now.
All right. From what I understand, there were at least 2 individuals who came in. They killed these 2, and then those that were in the back rooms woke and ran. One of them was cut by a rapier as they fled. Which means they allowed for them to escape.
Yes.
Which means they wanted these people. If they would have wanted everyone, they would not have let them run.
Unless what the Domina said is correct. That this was a mission of fear and intimidation.
Yeah, true.
You let people live for that.
Mm-hmm. And they let them live?
Here's the question. When They were going down the stairs and through the house to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Did they see the person in the chair or not? That gives us a series of events.
One moment. As well.
Right. And Anna looks at Captain Rogers and just says, he does this a lot.
Of course, sends a message to Alea. My apologies, but we did have one more question come up. There was a person sitting in the chair last night. Did they see them as they ran?
There's probably 2 minutes.
Yeah, well, she's got to go talk to them and then come back.
2, maybe 3 minutes before you hear the response of,
not that they can remember.
and they would have, so the way that the house is, there's like the parlor on the side.
Yes.
So like this is the front door, and then the parlor's on this side, and this would go back into
kitchen
like a kitchen area around the back, and then the stairs are like really close to that that parlor door.
Yes, I figured.
So if they running
straight
down,
out.
there is a possibility that unless they distinctly looked to the left, they would not have seen
Well,
them.
and the chair would be facing the other direction. So they would have
Towards
just
the
seen the
hearth.
back of the chair.
Yeah. So there is a possibility that the people were still there, but they just didn't see them.
Yeah. In their flight, they did not look. They saw the man with rapier and ran. Down the stairs, out the door.
Understandable.
There's another question, though, that is important. The individual that helps the organization here and kind of keeps them afloat is a gentleman by the name of Anduri. Where is he? If I was running a location such as this and was attacked, I would be here the next morning asking questions.
That is if he is alive.
He and the other two individuals that worked here, they were tieflings. He is human. None of them are here asking questions. None of them are here demanding answers.
What's your thought?
There's one or two things. One, they are scared and hiding. 2, he might have been in the chair.
What about the other two?
The other two are tieflings, so they might have been taken. You mentioned that not only were they... I mean, there was this, but the Domina mentions that there appeared to be kidnapping of tieflings, so
Yeah,
they might have taken them.
that is possible.
But then they need to drag them through town. How no one would see?
It's not that difficult to hide a body in a cart. Especially late at night.
A dead body.
It's not difficult to hide a body, period.
A live body kicking?
Well, there are magical ways to
means
subdue them.
that there would have been a cart. There would have been... Again, this all is, in that instance, more than a statement. You don't bring the cart.
There was more of an objective in this instance than just shock and awe.
The shock and awe might have been a happy side effect.
Well, if it was just about shock and awe, they would have left the bodies. And they didn't.
Exactly.
Do you need to be here anymore? Is this...
No, we can go. We need to find Anduri.
I don't even know where to begin looking.
From what I understand, he had contacts. He helped get funding, which means he was talking with those with money, which means he was known.
He more than likely would be known by members of the court if he was looking for money.
That is my thought.
And the upper merchant class as well. They'll all be there tonight at the ball.
Well, that could be a nice feather in the cap. You ask someone, yes, I was looking for a friend of mine, Anduri, I haven't seen him. Do you know him? And watch people's reactions.
It's not a bad idea. It's a good way to get information, especially as the evening progresses.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
Well, let's head back then. Let's give our report to the Domino. Let her know what's going on with the other thing.
Which other thing?
That Captain Rogers, if you remember, was in the room when she was asking you about looking at the 2 council members or the nobles.
Yes.
Remember? Slight DM slip up. I forgot to give you the names. The names of the 2 members of court. You are going to write them down, yes?
I think so. I don't remember if I wrote them down.
No, you didn't, because I forgot to give them to you.
Okay.
So the name of the first one is Vashar still. Vasharstillo. And the other is Haltero. It's Jhaltero.
Jhaltero. And these are 2 people that she wants me to watch at the thing tonight. Okay.
Mm-hmm, yeah, at the ball.
What can you tell me about them?
Vashar still is an absolute asshole.
He's a noble. It's normal.
No, this is beyond that. He is someone that is as slippery as they come, which is an understanding why the Domino wants you to watch him.
In what areas is his fortune?
He made most of his money off of the magic trade, fishing, and his real wealth came from shipbuilding.
Yeah, so he builds the ships in the harbor.
Yes. And because of that, he thinks he is quite the individual. He likes to lord his wealth over other people, but he is just smarmy.
Which also means that he has the ships to move goods in and out. And
yes,
things,
he does.
Yeah, so most likely smuggler.
It's possible. We've never been able to pin anything on him.
That just means he's good.
Yeah.
So most likely illicit trade there.
Yeah.
And then Haltero?
Haltero is goods, information goods, things like stone, silver, wood, building equipments, things like that.
You said information?
Yes. His family has been very wrapped up in the spy trade for many, many years.
So we have 2 people, one most likely a smuggler, and the other likes to deal in information broker.
Yes. You see why the Domino wants you to look at them.
There's also one good thing here. Information brokers are businessmen.
True.
Generally, they work in secrets and they trade.
Mm-hmm.
They are, in all truth, easier to work with than a barbarian who just likes to kill people. And
That's
sadists. Sadists are the worst. I can tell you about that from Cheliax. Oi, they're the worst.
I imagine you probably have some really interesting stories from Cheliax.
I will not haunt your dreams.
Son, there's not really anything you could say that could haunt my dreams.
Sir, I was a slave of a Hell Knight signifier who specialized in necromancy.
And I've lived through many wars.
So,
all right, let's get you back.
You were here for the overthrow of Thrune.
At the revolution? Yeah. It was a bloodless war, that one. For the country, but not for certain pockets.
Yeah, the Brastilia and his actions were known in especially the magic circles of Cheliax.
Yes, he was a real piece of work. I was never more happy than the day I found out he was killed. But that's what you get when you live so close to sadists.
Yeah. Well, let us go.
Yes. So the three of you, return to the...
On the way back, as we I know we passed by the market area. As we leave.
You want to go say hi to Hank?
1 moment. No, I don't say hi to Hank.
Oh, okay.
But I just look around, jump off because we had our horses, right?
Yeah, so you guys, you would be going back to get the
I find just where, like, there's food, like a food stand type thing. And so, do you have a jockey? Is there a jockey that I can buy?
Oh, hello. Yes, we have jerky. Do you want like the very big jerky? We have like the elk jerky, and then we have the venison jerky over here. We have a little bit of beef jerky right here as well. We have lots of jerky that are very good. What would you like?
I was just a small amount of the beef.
Just a small, are you sure? A young man like yourself, you would like a very large amount of jerky, yes?
Oh, no. This one.
All right.
5 copper? Worth?
Good 6.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. And the shopkeep does grab all the jerky, the little bit of jerky that he feels like is like 6 worth, and he gives the bag to you, and he takes your copper, and he says, "It's always good to meet you, new friends. Come back. You have the venison jerky, and we have the beef jerky.
And As just kind of turns around to walk away, and then he just walks up to Ana and puts the jerky in her hands. For Bruce. And then he climbs up onto the horse, and they can ride back.
And Anna takes the little bag and she kind of holds it to herself and she kind of, "Thank you, Aas." And she pulls out a little bit of jerky and she says, "See, I told you he likes you." And she gives Bruce a little
Anna,
piece of jerky.
Be sure to tell him to let us know any other time that humans don't smell right.
As you do realize he understands common. You can talk to him. You just can't hear him.
This is true. Fine.
Okay.
Bruce, you watch our backs.
And he kind of tilts his head to the side and paws at the ground a little bit in response. And she's like, "That's a yes."
Yeah.
All right, so you guys all hop on top of your horses and you head back into the
green district
with the captain at your side. You guys get straight through. At this point, it is a little bit later in the afternoon, and
we got to get to Sir Michael's.
You've got to get to Sir Michael. At this point, though, he is already at the palace.
Okay.
So you guys are going to head to the palace, and we are actually going to take a
break.
really quick break.
Good, I need to use the restroom.
So don't go anywhere. We are going to be back in 5 minutes. 5 minutos.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Don't
See you
go
guys
nowhere.
in just a minute.
Get jerky, big jerky.
Chicken jerky, the large jerky. We've got the venison.
And we're back. Maybe. Are we back?
We're back. You must have hit my camera because like it's showing the
What the heck?
side over here. There we are. Now I'm more.
Is that better? That's better.
That's better.
Okay.
Now I'm more centered.
No, we are centered. Hello and welcome back, you guys. Welcome back to our wonderful show where I randomly pull out NPCs selling venison jerky.
That's just jerky, and we got the beef jerky and the venison jerky.
All right. So you guys have returned to the Green District and you are going to the palace.
Okay, guys, the ball's coming up. So, again, hero points. If you use 500 of your channel points, you can buy a hero point for either one of our characters. I think Anna's going to need them.
Why is Ana going to need them?
To walk in her heels.
Oh, dear heavens above.
Some reflex saves there. I'm sure Az will need it for some stuff. You notice I actually managed to get through another week without setting up the villain points.
I know you did, but that's fine.
I will set them up tomorrow.
Next week, though, we have to have them.
All right, I'll set them up tomorrow night.
Next week, you guys. We're going to have villain points. Okay.
All right, let's jump back into it.
As you get to the palace, the gates do open, and you guys enter in through that
palace.
side. The estate.
The estate, okay.
Because you went to the estate, the palace, the estate, the palatial estate. Is that better?
This is the actual palace,
not the castle, not the castle. The estate.
All right.
That is where the ball is happening. Is at the estate, not at the castle. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So we get through take you into the side part of the estate, and somebody is there to receive the horses, and you jump off, and Anna, as she's getting down, she looks at one of the servants and says,
We're supposed to be meeting Sir Michael St. Clair. Is he here?
and the servant nods, and she says,
Yes, we were actually sent to get you for when you came back.
and she's like, okay, great. So
Well, let us.
show us the way then, please. And the servant does a little curtsy and turns around and begins walking.
Anxious to get into your dress and shoes.
No, I am anxious to not be whipped by Sir Michael, because we weren't here and we didn't have ample enough time to get ready.
I'm sure it will be fine.
You have not seen Sophie. She is a drill sergeant. I have had commanders less demanding than she.
That surprises me very much.
Legitimately, I've never met anyone who is so involved in fashion and shoes and accessories and doing my hair and painting my fingernails.
Well, then
and
hurry.
They continue walking down the hall. You guys go left, right, left, right. And then you get into this beautiful area of the estate that's all bedrooms. You can tell this is kind of like the living quarters area for all of the noble, like the visiting nobles and stuff like that. And they go, the servant takes you into a very large room it's a bedroom, but it is like 3 rooms connected, and there's like a small parlor sitting area, and then the bedroom's off to the far side, and there's like a lavatory kind of thing going on in the back as well. And in the center is there are 2 mannequins
one with a dress that you can see it's a green dress. It's kind of facing the other direction, and then the suit that was made for you by Sir Michael. And Sophie is there with 3 other servants who are kind of like futzing with different things. And Sophie is in her dress. It is a beautiful periwinkle dress that has a high waistline that goes just under her bust and comes down in a kind of a beautiful like waterfall. There's multiple layers that come down to the floor, and she does look very pretty. And she stands up very quickly as soon as you guys come in the room, and she says,
As it is so good to see you, and of course, Anna, you got back in time. Actually, much earlier than we thought you would be here, so it is so good to see you. But we do not have very much time.
and she like, you see she goes from like happy to drill sergeant.
Does
real
she
quick.
have is her halo out?
Yes.
And Az will walk up to her, tap her head, and be like, put that thing away.
She kind of deep breathes for a second, and then you see the light dim a little bit more, and then it does eventually completely disappear.
Yeah. Well, I need to get the rest. Walks over to his...
And one of the servants comes over with you and grabs the mannequin and takes you to a joining room that is to the side and begins to take all of the pieces off, and the door shuts behind you, and you hear Sophie go into full battle mode. She's like, "No, Anna, you have to get off all of your clothes. You must get in the wash. You are absolutely filthy. I cannot even believe that you would be covered from head to toe and don't get it." And she just kind of, you start to hear what Anna was talking about.
I should have cast prestidigitation on her before bringing her in.
Probably would have been a good idea.
Az is very acquainted with this thing, and before he lets them put on the clothes or even take anything off, he is going to prestidigitation himself, clean everything, so that way they can put on the suit without getting anything dirty.
Are you still... I imagine you've dropped your disguise? No. Okay. So
Which
you were
means
still
I would
disguised,
have.
which means...
She probably would have reacted a little bit.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
But she's seen me wear like slightly different hues in my face before.
That's true. She has seen you do your disguise thing before.
she
So
has.
it wasn't like totally startling, especially since when you left, you were also changed into a guard.
Yeah.
When you guys left. So,
She has seen this before. It's not new to her.
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And since my bone structure and everything's still the same, she'd probably recognize who it was.
Yeah. But the servant then that is with you, helping you, kind of helps you get on all of the layers of clothing that you need to be ready. And then he does ask, Monsieur, would you like for us to do your hair in any specific way, or are you going to leave it down?
Yes. You know, I generally do not wear this long, so I will take your recommendation.
I would suggest being pulled back so it is out of your face and people are able to see you. So,
And he kind of snaps his fingers, and one of the other servants that has been there in the room does come up, and they kind of point to the vanity to have you sit, and they do pull your hair back into like a very low ponytail and wrap it with some very nice like leather straps and make it very nice and secure, and kind of leave it, smooth everything down. They put a couple of like serums on your hair so it's like nice and slick. We're slick now.
All right. Don't know why that constituted that voice.
I know. I don't know either.
But yeah, so you get to know that. I mean, Az is used to being primped for a ball or something like that. So this is all.
Yeah, so you do end up getting done probably in about an hour or so, and Anna is still being
it just started
tousled around for her. She's probably got a couple more hours, poor thing. Anyway, so the time is kind of yours if you'd like to wander, go look at stuff, or if not, we can kind of move things forward.
Actually, Az is going to... So after I'm dressed, where do they direct me to go? Are they like, okay, go... You know, they're not going to let me just walk around the Domina's house.
Well, no, but there are like public areas, just like kind of like at the Capitol building, or not at the Capitol building, but like at the White House. Like there are public areas that you can go to. There is a very large library. There's a courtyard. There's also kind of like a garden area that if you would like to. And Sophie had mentioned this before as well, that there is a lot that you can do as we're waiting for the actual ball to begin and for dinner to start.
Actually, Az is going to... There he is. See if he can find a chamberlain, a higher level servant.
Okay.
And he's like, sir, I know that it is a busy day for everyone, but if it's possible, I would love a message to be sent to Dominic, informing him that I would like a word.
Of course. May I ask who is asking for him?
My name is Az.
That is it?
That is it. He will know.
Yes, sir. Where are you wanting to meet with him?
I will wait in the sitting room over here.
Oui. Are you wanting to be in the sitting room of the rooms, or are you wanting to go to like a communal area?
Like communal type area.
Okay. Okay, so there is kind of a small, like think about like the entrances of hotels where there's all those little spots.
Exactly.
Kind of like
That's
that.
kind of what I'm thinking of. And Az is just going to pull out his book, his spell book, and start just kind of looking through his different stuff, or his alchemy book. Because I actually am trained in alchemy as well. Now
That is
I've got
true.
my alchemy book.
That
So
is
he's kind
true.
of pulling out my different books
And looking at them.
reading through them. so
Remember,
that-
you do still have your economics of Ravenel.
Ooh, I
book.
do. He's going to pull that one out and start reading that.
Okay, cool.
Especially, he is going to look in there for any information that he can find in regards to these two families that you had that I'm supposed to be looking into. Just kind of garnering
the
bits of
still
information about them.
and the Haltero.
Yeah, so he'll just read up on them as much as he can while he waits.
Cool. So the Chamberlain leaves and he returns. Probably you've got like a 15-20 minute wait.
Oh, that's it? He came quick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because of the way that the day is going through, like Dominic is fairly available, mostly because if at any moment the Domina needs him, he's going to be there.
I figured that he'd be the one to talk to.
Yeah. So he does show up, and as he walks into the room, he does look around.
Won't recognize me.
And yeah, as he's looking around, his eyes kind of land on you for a second and then keep going. And as he's looking, he doesn't see anyone. You see him turn to the Chamberlain and start speaking to the Chamberlain very quickly. And the Chamberlain's kind of like pointing
And I'll stand up.
pointing to you from across the room.
I'll stand up and motion to him.
And Dominic's he's very confused. And he walks up and he says, excuse me, sir, but I'm supposed to be meeting with a acquaintance of mine. The Chamberlain seems to be confused.
Yes. No, it is me. Would you prefer that I looked like an Azamir? I thought this would be less conspicuous.
You're okay. No, that makes sense, I guess.
An Azamir would always be noticed.
However, you're in a palace where everyone knows that you are an Azamir. Why disguise yourself?
Because not everyone who's coming knows.
I mean, word of your arrival has gone around. Mm-hmm. And Dominic does sit down in the chair directly across from you. It's like, well, you asked for me.
I wanted to simply pass along some information. We were sent on a mission today. I wanted to pass along some information, and you seemed to be the person that she most trusts with the information in regards to what we were doing this morning.
If this is in regards to what we were doing this morning, if you remember, I was sent from the room.
He was sent from the room before we talked about...
Mm-hmm. It was just you, Anna, Sir Michael, and a servant.
Damn, I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm. And then, the captain, when he came in.
Mm-hmm. And he, yes, but you are aware. You are the only one who was in the room to even know we were called here. I would simply like
true.
to pass along. I'm sure she is far too busy today for anyone to get her time.
I will get any kind of message that you would like.
Simply inform her that the problem is not who she thinks it is, and that I can discuss more at the moment that she is available.
Most likely that will not be today.
I assume not.
All right. He leans to kind of stand up a little bit, but then sits back into his chair again and says, you coming here has created a very interesting problem for Julia.
In what way?
You're an Asmir in the court. You're a magic user.
Hmm.
There aren't many. There's a lot of suspicion as to why you are here.
Well, to be completely honest, me coming here into the court was not planned and has made things difficult for me as well. And Asmir,
Just know that her favor is not something to be taken lightly, nor to be abused.
Understood.
Give me
Sense motive?
Yeah, give me a sense motive.
Give me some sense motive? Okay, Here we go.
Here we go. Okay.
Heart chakra, please.
You do realize you have to do it longer than 5 seconds.
No, I don't, because that's a natural 20.
My gosh! Why? What the? Okay. I don't understand the physics behind rubbing your chest with a piece of metal and then getting a freaking D20. Oh my gosh, do not rub yourself. All right.
So that it would be a 33.
That's a 33.
On my perception check. So as the matrix opens before my eyes,
I know, the
what do I
matrix
see?
opens. You can see into his brain. No, so you get the sense that he is A, hiding something, and B, he is incredibly protective of the Domina. That he has this overwhelming sense of like almost blind fervor for her and for keeping her safe and doing whatever she needs.
Okay.
But there is also that sense that he is hiding something.
As we'll also say, it's like, oh, but by the way, it is Dominic, correct?
Yes.
I did not catch your surname.
Why do you want it?
Simply like to know who I work with. Do you want me to do a diplomacy check?
Yeah, do a diplomacy check. He doesn't want to tell you.
Natural 20.
Oh my gosh!
I rubbed it on the chest.
Oh
You all
my
saw it.
gosh! Freaking hell!
You all saw it. Just rub it on the chest and throw.
I was looking down, so technically I didn't see it.
You can watch the
Okay, you
recording.
guys, he doesn't need any freaking hero points tonight. I'm just
Hero
saying.
points.
He doesn't
Give
need
me,
a
give it to
freaking
me.
one. Not one. So he's you can see the fairly visible struggle that he's having right now with this. And he finally says to you, my last name is Haltero.
Okay. Well, thank you. And I will say, I have been among the court much of my life. I understand the delicate nature of it. And if the dominers hold upon this nation slackens, my master will be more than happy to cross the border to come get me. It is in my best interest that her hold remain strong.
He nods and stands and says to you, I'll relay the message. Good day. And he turns on and walks away.
Danke.
Bitte.
So that's the freaking guy you tells me to watch? Oh,
Well, it's not him. He's the grandson
okay.
of the guy.
Which I immediately then open up my book and go find the Holtero family again and start reading again. Knowing, oh geez.
Yep.
I know,
Also,
I will
villain
get-
points.
I'll
Okay,
get the villain
no.
points
Okay,
set up this
Synth
next
Knight.
week.
Thank you for the hero point for Anna. It's not for you. It's for Anna.
It's okay.
for Anna.
She's gonna need it for the
I
dancing.
know she really is gonna need it. Okay. The villain points will be up for next week.
Haley will make sure. She'll hold
I will
me
make
accountable for
sure
that.
because we have.
Big
Yep.
stuff.
They're
Climax of the arc is probably next week.
yeah. The climax of the arc's next week. So after having that discussion, you head back
I'm back where?
to the rooms.
Sure. Yeah, I'll head
You're
back
just
there.
heading out?
I'm just gonna read.
Okay.
I was just gonna be reading.
So the next couple of hours kind of go by fairly quickly for you as you are engrossed in reading about the family histories of the nobles within the city of
Question for you.
Kintargo. Yes,
How big is this place? This place is really big, right?
it's palatial.
I'm gonna go up and find servant. That's the word. I'm gonna find a servant and just kind of ask them. I have some time before the ball tonight. Is there anyone that might be able to give me a tour?
Absolument, oui.
And she, the one that you did find that had been the closest to the room, does go and she says,
Give me a moment and I will go find someone who is able to take you on a tour of the palace. Just a moment, please.
Yeah.
and she turns around and she goes and finds somebody and brings them back. It is a older gentleman who has been at the estate for quite some time, so he knows it quite well. And you all commence on a tour of the facilities.
As we're going through the tour, I'm sure that at some point they're going to direct me to the areas and the wings that are closer to the Domina's rooms and such. Not
yes,
right there, but
not-
like in that general.
Yeah, in the general vicinity. Yeah, but
Okay.
there's not going to be any.
Maybe within a couple hundred.
You can try.
That's what I'm like thinking of. Then let me double check my my message cantrip. I
It's
forget.
500
Is it
feet.
500 feet? Okay. Yeah. So maybe within 500 feet or so. And then I will just take a moment, like as I'm going, and maybe when they're not looking at me, I will cast message, and with in mind the Domina. Say, Domina, I passed along a message earlier, simply and I'm hoping to convey, it is not the Nightwing organization. You have a new organization in your country, in your city, that is causing the problems. And then he'll just leave that.
Remind me, does it tell you if the message was received?
Let me
Like, do you
see.
get a sense of whether or not the message was received?
Hear your words. If there's a next to you, the target can give a brief response. Also, you'll see if they respond. Response delivered to your ear, just like original message. It doesn't indicate
Okay.
whether or not you know.
Okay.
Not like Dream does.
Yeah. All right. Well, you were gonna
Yep,
have to
I'll just leave that.
wonder.
That's why I passed it in two different ways.
Awesome. So you guys do go on the tour, and eventually,
Is Anna with me?
Sir Michael? No.
Okay, then
No,
she
you
didn't
and the
servant.
And eventually, Sir Michael does find you, and he's like,
Oh, we have been looking for you. Anna is almost ready, but we need to go down to the receiving chambers for the beginning of the dinner and for the ball. It is getting ready. Please come with me.
Of course.
and so Sir Michael takes you to the area that is
Receive
kind of like
us.
the waiting room. And as you enter into this area, it is like a huge, like fairly chamber-like room of like tons of people are already here, and there's chairs all along the wall. There's lots of people who are kind of sitting and standing in small groups talking to each other. And as you come in, Sir Michael does start pointing people out to you, like, that over there is Tennyson, and he is in charge of all of the armory and the crafting. I will give all of this to you.
Yeah,
you
I
don't
figured.
have to write it down if you don't want to.
figured.
And then he points out a few other nobles within the group, but then the ones that they look the most noble-esque, if you will.
Snobby.
Their clothing is snobby. Their clothing is extremely well made. It is ones that it is something that you would expect from someone that is not just a noble, but like in a royal family kind of stuff.
This is the
Sir
Versailles
Michael,
people.
Yes, this is.
living
Sir
up
Michael-
the Frenchness to the extreme there.
Pretty much. This is the Sun Palace. But Sir Michael does point out to Alamaxa, which is, if you remember, the group that or the family name that he had told you is connected with
Magical items. Salt.
No, sorry, that's wrong one. Alamaxa is the opera and the theater and the public opinion. But he points her out, him out, and her. Jeez, eyes, stay on the right line. Her name is Aldana Almaxa, and Sir Michael says,
I did actually make her dress as well, and she is quite a pleasant individual, someone who is a purveyor of the arts, and she truly loves the theater. There is something just je ne sais quoi about who she is and what she does. She's a wonderful individual. I think you will really like her.
and then he also points out Golarion, and that's the family that deals with magic and silver and salts. And
I imagine they would have
they
part
are
in the academy.
right next to each other.
I imagine they'd have connections to the academy that's there.
Yes, they do. But they are standing right next to each other, looking very thick as thieves. They are very close to each other. They're talking fairly quietly right next to each other. And Sir Michael says,
Count Auxis, he is one that I didn't happen to make his garments for the night, but I have made previous things for him as well. But he is someone that they do say he is a little bit of a scoundrel, to be honest. But his late wife was one that he always speaks such wonderful praise about her. He absolutely loved her. So I don't think there was anything on below the bed, as it were, after while she was alive. But after she died, it was a little bit. And he's just kind of doing the general gossip about the court, and you hear a high-pitched kind of shout almost from up the stairs that you guys had come around to, and it's a little Sophie, and she's like, "Hey, Papa! Hey, Papa!" And quite a few people turn to look, and she kind of realizes how loud she was, and she was like,
Yeah.
and she shrinks down, but you see her come down, and trailing behind her is Anna in the beautiful green gown, and you are slightly struck. What are you rolling for?
To decide something for myself, because I couldn't decide either way.
Okay. But as you
as you see her and take her in for the very first time since you met her, you truly understand what Sir Ulfric sees in her. The gown is more of a flowing wrap type dress. It comes down the front in these huge swaths of fabric, leaving a very, very deep cut V over her breast, while at the same time not really showing any décolletage. But it goes straight down to the floor, and it is a very beautiful belt sash around her waist, emphasizing the fact that she does have quite a small waist. And there's a cape that is connected on the shoulders that creates the silhouette of her as she walks down the stairs. And you do see she has on the shoes. She's not wearing her boots. As she comes down the stairs, there is a little bit of a commotion because she is A, gorgeous, but B, she is a tiefling. And as you look around,
there's a reaction.
You see there are no other tieflings in the room. It is just her. Her hair is done up in such a way that while it does not emphasize the horns, it also does not hide them. So it is this kind of beautiful bouffant on the top of her head and twisted all around in the back. But she looks absolutely stunning. And she comes down the stairs and walks towards you and Sir Michael reaches out and takes her hands and gives her a quick kiss on the cheek and says, "You look absolutely stunning, my dear. I could not have made it any better. Thank you for wearing my gown." And she kind of blushes a little bit and she's kind of like, "Oh, thank you, Sir Michael. It was a bit of a torture trying to get Bruce to stay in the room, but I promise you he will stay and he will not ruin the dress, even though he really wanted to jump up on it." And Sir Michael kind of giggles a little bit and he's like, "Well, I think you look absolutely lovely." And Sophie kind of does a little bit of a movement twirl to get a little bit of attention, and Sir Michael then begins to fawn all over his daughter and how beautiful she looks and whatnot. And Anna does come to stand next to you, and she says, "You look wonderful, Aas."
Anna, he looks over at her. "You look wonderful. The dress fits you well."
It's strange not to be wearing my plate armor and have my sword with me, but don't tell anyone. And she kind of lifts the shoulder a little bit of the cape, and there are two short, small daggers just slid right over her shoulder where they're very easily accessible. And she said, "That was our compromise if I couldn't have my sword."
They would not let you wear your necklace.
He said it didn't fit.
It doesn't.
Yes, but honestly, being without the sword makes me feel a little bit naked, so I might end up going back up there to get it at some point. But
well, also, one thing to remember, I did ask for one from a guard earlier, and it happens to be in my bag.
We should have put my sword in your bag.
We should have. That would
Why
have been a good
didn't
idea.
we?
We didn't think about that.
That's stupid.
In
And
the
suddenly
future, we think about that.
of course. And suddenly there's a big trumpet of sound and the announcement of the Domina coming into the room, and everyone stands at attention. The Domina herself looks absolutely stunning with a very high neck with a like a cowl almost like of the dress that's coming up, and it's this deep burgundy color that not matches, but it complements her skin tone very well, and her hair is done up with jewels and she glitters and shines. And Anna leans forward to Sir Michael and she says, "Sir Michael, you did an absolutely wonderful job. That dress is incredible. And Sir Michael, you see, is kind of like patting his cheeks in a little bit of like happiness and awe and just like, it really is, isn't it? It came out absolutely perfect. And you watch as the Domina does come in and moves through the room. She does catch your eye at a certain point, and she nods and then continues forward and goes into the dining hall. And you all filter in as well. At this point, you can choose to sit wherever you would like. There is not assigned seating, but you do see all of the seats around the Domina are taken up very quickly by a few people that you recognize from previous encounters, quite a few that you don't. Sir Michael takes a seat in the middle of the extremely long table setting. And Sophie sits next to him, and he kind of motions for you to come, but you don't have to.
Wait, who motions me to come?
Sir Michael.
I will go, and I'll sit over by them at the moment.
So you sit by him, and then Anna sits right next to you.
I'm going to spend this time more watching. I want to see who interacts, who talks, who... You know, I'm just kind of watching the room that way.
All right. Give me a perception check.
Yes. There's only so many times you can get a natural 20. That's instead of 12.
I'm like, I know that's not a natural 20 because
So,
that's the
25
two
still.
that's facing me.
Still 25.
I'm 25. Okay. Your eye, you do pick up a lot of things, and Sir Michael does start pointing different people out to you. The people that matter the most for sake of time are going to be Vashnar still.
What was that?
I realized I wrote the name down. It's Vashnar still. That's the a-hole character.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
And then Haltero. So we've got Baron Canton Haltero, and then Baron Sendi Vashnar still. Those are the two that you were asked to watch.
Is Dominic sitting with the Haltertos, or is he sitting closer to the Domina?
He's sitting closer to the Domina.
Okay.
So those two are closer to the Domina than you guys are, but they're still probably 5 or 6 seats away.
So not favored positions.
No, they don't have
positions.
favored positions, but they are definitely up there with the nobility. And there is, you can tell with, I mean, it wasn't a super high perception check, but you can see there is like a hierarchy with the seats.
Of course.
As Alex Mara, the Archbaroness, is sitting right next to the Domina on her left, and Count Auxis Alorian.
So the opera and theater is sitting right next
are
to.
on the other side of the Domina.
So she's sitting right. The opera one's sitting right next to the Domina.
And the magic is on the other side.
Interesting.
They are obviously very high favored individuals within the court.
Who remind me? The magic one is.
That's Alorian, and that's Count Auxis Alorian.
Auxis, yeah.
Auxis. It's Auxis.
Yeah, I wrote it down earlier.
Okay. But those two are sitting right next to the Domina, so you can see that there's definitely, and she's not familiar with them, like you have seen in previous encounters with her in her private area, but she is a little bit more relaxed with these two, you can tell, while still being quite queenly. And
because that's probably one of the things I'd mainly watch is who she acts slightly guarded with versus who does she act actually like interested in seeing them and talking with them and stuff like that.
So dinner is served. It is amazing. It is wonderful. At a certain point in the...
It's not Chilaxian, but I mean, it's not,
It's French. I based Ravenel on France, you guys. It's really good food. I've been there.
To Ravenel?
To France.
Just kidding.
The food really was incredible. I
know. You've talked about it.
I know we've talked about it. I was ruined for chocolate for quite a while, you guys.
Oh, yeah.
But halfway through the dinner, a servant does come in looking slightly harried and you see he goes to Baron Sendi, Vashnar still, leans down and says something to the Baron, and the Baron then leans over to Haltero, whispers something, and then the servant is sent away.
Interesting. Okay.
This little exchange does not seem to have been noticed by many, but it was noticed by you because you are watching.
Yes.
After the dinner is
Haltero. It was mentioned to the Duke
Vashnar still, the Baron Sendi.
Oh, they mentioned to Vashnar still.
Vashnar still, and then Vashnar still said something to Haltero.
So they seem to kind of stick together a little bit, and there's some they're working together in the areas. All right, cool. Oh, so you got the broker with the smuggler. Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Once the dinner is completed, the servants do all take all the food away. And now it is time for. Why are you giggling?
I just had the thought, like, should we make Ana roll a society check if she can figure out which fork to use? I just had this.
Right. Let's see. She cannot. She has to lean over to you pretty much at every course and be like, which one do I use now? And so you are coaching her pretty much through this entire meal. She has no idea what she's doing when it comes to this stuff. She has enough manners that she does know how to eat without getting stuff everywhere and whatnot. She's not a complete barbarian, but she does definitely need help through the whole thing. So once it comes, the dinner is done. It does come to the actual dancing part, and you're all ushered in. There are two sets of very large double doors that are flung open, and you are able to go into the ballroom, and the ballroom is absolutely massive. It has huge windows up on the sides, and they are like floor to ceiling, looking out onto the garden area, and you can see the courtyard fairly easily through the windows. This is closer to the front of the palace estate, so that you it's like the showpiece for the home. As you guys all filter in, you hear a string orchestra begin to play, and the domina does start the dancing, and you see as she begins to walk forward, Dominic takes a few steps forward, and it looks pretty like she's definitely gonna this is a pretty normal thing that Dominic is gonna be there and whatever, but she actually puts a hand out to stop him from his normal position of being her first partner, and you see his entire everything
change, just
go completely
you just got turned down, dude.
And she looks around and makes eye contact with you. And she was prepped to know that you did not look normal.
I figured that would be too.
And she nods at you and kind of puts a hand out.
And Az will come forward, and as he's doing that, I am going to, as I'm kind of walking, I am going to burn 2 of my focus points.
Ooh.
To first cast extended spell, which is just a verbal, so I just say something to have it happen. And then ancestral memory to give me training on my performance check for the dance that I know you will make me do.
Nice. How did you know I was going to do
I've
that?
been thinking about that for a week.
All right, as the orchestra...
Ever since you made me bow and I failed the check.
Pretty funny. As the orchestra begins, you do take the domina in your arms, and I would like you to roll a performance check, please.
All right, so That's a 16 plus 12. That's a 28.
So 28. Nice.
Boom, I dance.
So you do, as the music begins, you recognize the tune. It is something that you have, a dance that you did learn in Cheliax while you were in kind of like that courtly training.
Or my ancestor knew it.
Or your ancestor knew it, but you're not really sure which it is.
Yep.
And you do begin dancing with the Domina. And she says to you,
Thank you for this moment. I know I will most likely have to make it up to Dominic later, but I needed...
From the looks of it, yes, you will.
yeah, and he's fuming on the side of the ballroom.
But she says, I needed to talk with you about what you saw today. I know that Dominic did get a message to me from earlier today that it is not who I thought it was.
There's another organization in your city that has been using the Nightwings as a scapegoat, as it were, as they run in a more quiet manner. Both those within the Bellflower Network and those within the Cloven Hoof Society are aware of them.
This is less than what I had hoped you would come back with.
And you turn her, you do like kind of a spin with her, and the onlookers all clap and cheer, and she comes back into you and she says,
If they are running underneath, do you believe that they might be a fighting organization to the Nightwing, or?
They are completely separate, we think.
So this is not a situation of fighting over territory?
No, this is a matter of the Nightwing are a illicit but business organization. This group is not. They are strong arms, they are dangerous, and we think that Terra was taken by them most likely. They are running underneath in a way to where they know that the Nightwings are the most likely person to blame, so they let everyone blame them, and they continue unknown.
What do you believe would be the motivations of a group such as this?
A group such as this, I can think of two. One, religious fanatics.
Why would you say that?
Because I understand from one of an individual that we both know, Alea, that
you know Madame Alea?
Yeah.
How do you know Madame Alea?
I have made her acquaintance now. She is supposed to be here tonight.
Yes, she sent me a message and said that she wouldn't be able to be here until later in the evening, but she was missing the dinner. I'm quite anxious to see her. It's been quite a while.
She has informed me that tieflings and Azimirs have been disappearing all over, even outside of Revenel, into Nidal, into Varesia. So I can imagine a human purist organization, or this type of group likes to undermine authority.
Do you think they were sent here to destroy Revenel?
Or they saw the fact that you are a new nation and thought you might be weak.
To be quite honest, political intrigue was never something I was any good at. My older brother, rest his soul, he was much better at it than I was. I was not meant to be the queen.
Well, I, in my investigations, do have some additional things that I am looking into, but I would need to know who within the court might have been the most likely to be approached by the Cloven Hoof Society for aid and funding.
You see her eyes immediately turn to the left. And give me a perception check.
All right.
Let's see if you can spot them while you guys are dancing.
Well, wait, I'm just.
Oh, it jumped out.
It did, so it doesn't count there. That's still 11.
It doesn't
still 25.
count.
It was a 17. I'll take that then. 30. I'll take the 17 over the 11.
Either way, you still pass DC. It's
All
fine.
right, cool.
You turn. You do turn to the left and follow her eyes, and you do see the Baron Sandy Vashnar still, who is standing near the edge of a group of individuals with a drink in hand, and she says to you, I can think of a few people who may be approached for nefarious reasons.
No. We cannot find the individual who was running the Cloven Hoof Society.
Wait, so you mean funding for the Cloven Hoof Society, not the...
No, not... Yeah.
Oh.
We cannot find... I'm trying to find where I wrote down the guy's name.
Andori.
Yeah. Andori. We cannot find an individual named Andori who was the one responsible and who found funding for them. And so he must have known contacts, someone who might know where he might be. We need to locate him.
So he has gone missing.
Yes.
The one in charge. I'm sorry, I do not know who that is, but more than likely, you would want to speak with those dealing with the merchant trades or down by the docks. So anyone involved with the shipyards. And unfortunately, that is the same person. Vashnar still is in charge of the shipyards. Most of what he does is shipbuilding and movement of goods.
Alamaxa.
Alamaxa? She's absolutely wonderful. She, more than likely, she is a great giver of things. The easiest way to say it. She is a philanthropist, but she donates many things to the arts within the city. She is the owner, her family is the owner of the Opera House, and they do many charitable outreach programs. So
I'm acquainted that one of the most famous to come from here, from the Opera House, was herself a tiefling.
Yes. There are quite a few wonderful opera singers that have come out of our opera. It is a point of pride for our city. But I would speak with her as well. If she doesn't know who you're speaking of, more than likely she will know someone who does.
Yes.
So that is someone to speak with at a certain point. With how busy this evening is, I would not be surprised if you might need to set an appointment with her at a different time.
I am well acquainted with these evenings. Do not worry. You do as you must, and I will do as I do.
Of course, which is why I asked for your help. And so the music does come to an end at that point, and you do spin her out, and you both do a very courtly curtsy and bow, as is tradition at the end of the dance. And then you see Dominic basically beeline to the Domina, and he bows very deeply, and he says, "Ma'am, may I have this next dance?" And she smiles and reaches out for Dominic, and he then takes her away, and he gives you the nastiest stink eye than you could ever imagine.
And Az is going to smile at him and wink.
You are cruising for a bruising, bud. Oh my goodness. So the dance is now in full swing, and many people have taken partners. You do see the Archbaroness Eldana Almaxa and the Count Auxis do begin a dance together, and they are basically with each other most of the night.
This is Alamaxa, and then who? Who's the other one?
Alamaxa and Golarion.
Okay. If there's a moment when they're not dancing, like is this one? So, I never have been to a noble dance in the this era. Is this high school dance where most people are sitting around the sides, or is this where everyone is dancing?
This is where it's kind of half and half. So you have people who are going to be less active in the dance, but the dances are like set dances.
Yes.
These are like I think of the Regency era type balls.
Okay, yeah, that's why I was
So it's that kind of stuff. There are still a lot of people around on the outsides talking and laughing, and there is of course more food because why not?
Of course.
Lots of libations, and there is also the center area which is cleared for the different types of dances, and that is pretty much going the whole time. So you are free to move about the dance floor and to dance with whoever you would like, or to try and sidle up to any individuals you would like to.
I am going to try and saddle up to Alamaxa and Alorum when they are, between dances, because I can tell they're kind of sticking to each other's hips.
Yes, they are the best of friends.
So as I come up, I'm going to, of course, bow, and I'm going to try and make an impression.
Okay,
so I want to do my diplomacy.
Yep, give me a diplomacy check.
I'm just going to do this every time.
And Ana is
it's 14.
not quite. Dang it. So 14 plus 10 or 12?
No, actually.
What's your diplomacy?
I believe it's 12. It's plus.
It's 12. Okay.
So that's a 26.
26. Okay, cool. So you do a very graceful bow because the Domina danced with you first out of everyone in the building. There is a recognition there, and the Baron nods and kind of bows at you, and the Arch Baroness does also. Oh. And Ana is standing to your side as per the Domina's instruction to
She's sticking by me.
Be there. And she tries to
use the hero
curtsy.
Point? You have two, because you got the one that you start with.
Oh, that's true. Okay, yeah, I'm going to use a hero point. Thank you, Synth Knight.
Oh, comes out better.
Oh, that's much better. That's a 16.
Good.
So she does bow, or she does curtsy as well, and there is definitely some practice that has been done, especially in this dress.
Yep.
Back stays very straight as she goes down, so that she doesn't expose the ladies, because that's a whole thing when you've got ladies.
Yes.
And they both are and the Archbaroness.
Can I do a sense motive?
Yeah.
I want to see their reaction to her being a tiefling.
Okay.
It's a 12, so 25.
Okay. You can see the Archbaroness is a little surprised. But she is going to be one that's a little bit more open, as she is in the arts and the theater and whatnot. And so, she is a little bit surprised. You can see, though, Golarion Auxis is not... He's not as... he's more guarded than she is, so you're not able to get much off of him, other than he's just kind of watching. You can see there's this sense of waiting with him.
And as we'll, of course, after we bow and kind of make a good impression.
Yes, you do make a good impression with those bows. And the Archbaroness Aldana does say to you, well, it is the young man that has taken over the position of honor from Dominic. And she looks at it's not Baron, excuse me, it's Count Auxis. And he chuckles a little bit, and he's like, yes, you watch your back, young man. Dominic might stab it.
Oh, I know there is no one that can replace Dominic in this court.
Oh, absolutely not. I am surprised he didn't storm you on the floor.
No, the Domina and I have had much work together we've been doing lately.
So
I
you-
am new here in the city, and I am you two are the individuals I most was interested in meeting tonight.
Well, flattery will get you absolutely everywhere, young man. And she kind of flips her little fan and puts a hand out, and she says to you,
I am the Archbaroness Eldona Almoxa, and this is my companion, Count Auxis Golarion.
Yes. Wait, Alamaxa was a
Alamoxa is an archbaroness.
archbaroness.
She's higher in rank than he is.
Yes, Baroness. I have long been a fan of the arts. One of my contacts and associates that I've worked with in the past has performed in your opera house.
Oui, and who would that have been?
Oh, yes, Vivienne Ashur.
Oh, Vivienne. Oh, the voice of an absolute angel, that one. She commanded the stage like no one I have ever seen before. Unfortunately, we had to let her leave and go spread her wings and fly in other places, but she will always come back home to roost. It will never be a true opera house without that young woman.
She has always spoken so fondly of the opera house here in Quintago.
Yes, well, we do love her dearly. And, who is your beautiful companion?
This, and he will present Anna. This is Andoriana. Does she have a surname?
Mm-mm.
This is Andoriana of Taldor.
It's wonderful to meet you both. I am his right hand, as it were.
Well, we will be more honest. She is not only a beautiful gem on my arm tonight, but in a way, I rely on her in, well, I am not so strong. She's a bit of a bodyguard as well.
Oh, and Alorian will kind of smile a little bit at that and say, well, it's always good to see the partnership together as young couples as they grow. It's strengths and weaknesses. And Eldana kind of smacks him a little bit and says, you're going to embarrass them. Stop it.
My interests in truth are more in line with what I understand you work in, Sir Aldor. Or Count?
Count.
Alorian. I understand that your family is purveyors of items of magical nature.
Yes, we have quite a few shops across the country, and we are the main source of magical items within the city as well. What kind of magic do you dabble in?
I dabble in many things. I am a strong believer in Nethys, Lord of Magic, and I have studied the magical arts for many, many years.
Well, you will not find a worship place for Nethys in this city.
Yes.
There are many though that are quite sympathetic to him. You will find friends. You should come to our shop in town.
I will definitely. And in all truth, anywhere where magic is studied, Nethys, in a way, is acknowledged.
Exactly. I like this young man, and he kind of looks at the Archbaroness, and she's kind of, you can tell she's a little bit tipsy, just a little bit at this point. They haven't had like a ton of drinks for the evening, but she definitely is starting to kind of lean a little bit on the Count, and she says, "So, what brought you to our little city?"
Oh, we are friends of Sir Michael.
Sir Michael is a magnifique.
I understand your dress.
Yes, the dress. And she takes a step back and she turns around and she says, this dress he made specifically for me. It is better suited to me than even my own skin. I don't know how he does it. I believe he has magic in those fingers. He says he does not, but I do not believe it.
I do not know if I believe it either.
And she looks at Anna and she says, I assume, considering you all came with him, I believe I saw you all sitting together at the dinner. Your dress is from him as well. And Anna nods and she says, yes, it is. He did make it specifically for me, but honestly, I am slightly uncomfortable in it. I'm much more comfortable in a suit of armor and my sword at my side. But I believe, and she interrupts Anna and she says, my dear, a beautiful gown on a beautiful woman is better than a suit of armor in this room. And the Count kind of chuckles and he says, she's not lying there. That's pretty true.
Here it is, your armor. And a beautiful smile is your sword.
That is very true. It sounds as if you quite do have understanding of the court.
I have, our contacts with Michael, we came up with him as he went down to Cheliax to trade. I myself, as you can tell, am from Cheliax.
Yes, I understand. I recognize your accent very, very quickly. But it is always a disturbing thing when Michael goes on those trips. We all don't really want him to, but he insists.
Ah, yes. It can be dangerous to travel, but I know that he took with him very capable individuals.
Oh, yes, as Ulfric, I believe, was with him as well, and he is most capable individual. And the Count says, yes, he is kind of a surprise that he was able to even leave the Domina's side. Ulfric is normally one of her main guards, but when you are Sir Michael, as it were.
Yes. Which, speaking of, we probably must return to him.
Well, come to the shop whenever you would like. I am there probably 2 or 3 days a week, so most likely you will run into me if you come.
Of course. And we will definitely be stopping by the Opera House.
Absolutely. Please come. You can sit in my box and we can have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much.
And then you all bow and give me another performance check real quick.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, because it's still, I mean, how long has it been?
It's been less than 10 minutes.
All right. That is a 13 plus 12, 25. And Anna doesn't do quite as well.
Not as well as she did the first time. So you
Can I aid her?
Yes.
As we're kind of doing this together, can I aid her?
You can. Whoa.
Can I do that one again? Because that's like
Yeah, you can do that again. It like is.
That's worse. That's a 2.
No, you cannot aid her.
2 plus the 12, it's still 14. So I don't critically fail.
No,
so I don't bring her
but
down.
You don't bring her down,
her.
but you don't help her at all. But she does manage to kind of pull out a little bit of a bow, without or a curtsy without making a fool of herself. It's not as elegant as that first one was, and she does put her arm through yours as you begin walking away, and she says, "What was the point of that whole conversation?"
Since she works in the arts and knows Vivian, I imagine she is sympathetic to tieflings. I'm hoping that she might have contacts or have some knowledge of Aduri, who worked with the Clovenhoof Society. He had to get his funding from someone in nobility. I think she would be a good individual to approach.
Okay. That actually makes a lot of sense. And she was quite nice, actually.
She was, actually.
And the Count.
Characteristically for a noblewoman.
However, she is also drunk.
In my experience, yes, some people are more friendly when they're drunk, but many are more belligerent and more opinionated.
Mm-hmm.
And more, how do you say it, arrogant when drunk. At least that was the case in Cheliax.
Of course. I don't have much experience with nobles.
No, but you've been around gods. You know, when they get drunk, they get stupid often.
Yes, but when they get stupid, I just would punch them in the face and they would leave me alone. So it wasn't really an issue.
Well, let's not do that tonight.
Okay. And mid-laugh, she chokes slightly, and you see your entire body goes back slightly. And she kind of stumbles backwards and regains her footing, and you hear from behind her, I am so sorry. Are you okay? And
Who's behind her?
as you turn around, you see this very tall man, mid-30s, very short cropped blonde hair. He is wearing a not a suit, but yeah, like a suit.
Yep.
A suit that is very, very nice. Not as nice as yours.
It's not a tux.
It's not a tux, but it is a very nice suit. And he kind of puts his arm out to steady Ana and is kind of holding her up a little bit. And he says, I am so sorry. I didn't mean to step on your cape. Are you okay? Is everything? And he's kind of like checking her over a little bit. And she smiles.
Can
and
perception check this guy?
yeah.
I want
Perception check?
I want to see, does this look like this was intentional?
Okay. Wouldn't it more be sense motive?
It's the same roll.
Okay, that's true.
It's a natural 1.
You can't figure out anything.
No, I can't.
You're more focused in this moment on
On
Ana
Ana.
and making sure that she's okay than you are on him. But she she does regain her footing, and being being someone that is an athletic individual, she does keep herself up, and she recovers very quickly, and she says, no, it's fine. This cape is absolutely silly, so it's totally fine.
And as will, and this will probably you'll notice, as will then take her coat and he'll bend down and then take his hand and wipe across Nethys, god of magic. Let it be clean. And clean off the spot where it had been stepped on and stuff like that. And I would cast Prestidigitation.
On.
And clean up the bottom of whatever was stepped on and stuff like that.
Okay. The man seeing you do this, because you're not trying to be stealthy about it, says, magic user. It's wonderful to meet a fellow in the trade. I am Andrin.
Andrin.
Mm-hmm.
Do I know anything about Andrin? I don't know anything. I do not believe I am acquainted.
Nice. And he's like, I'm just kind of passing through the city. I managed to get an invite to this through Vashnar still, the Baron Sendi.
Yes.
So I was just passing through, and he invited me to this little event.
Can I society to see if I can hear his accent and might know where he's from?
Yes.
Okay, 13 plus, I believe my society is at 10, no, 11, 24.
A 24. Okay. You can place that it does sound to be either far north and east of Cheliax or Nadal.
Okay.
So you can hear that, but it's not.
So it's like in Nadal and slide in there, but not super strong.
Yeah, it's not super strong. So there is a possibility he's either trained it out or he didn't grow up there. Like he grew up there as a young kid, but then moved away. So the accent's not very strong.
Right. And what brings you to this wonderful city?
Oh, I'm in the merchant trade, and the best shipbuilders in town in Kintargo for port are the Vashnar stills. So I needed to speak with them about getting some merchandise moved up north.
So not buying a ship yourself, but shipping.
Yes, in shipping, and it's a little difficult in Revenel at the moment with in terms of merchandise and getting things shipped and moved around. So we have to send everything up north.
Really, and why? What?
Well, the shipping routes all got
Yes.
shut down about 10 years ago. So the only option that we really have is to go north at this point if we want to continue making a business.
Now you say you are a practitioner of the arts.
Yes, I'm a purveyor of the magical and the arcane, the interesting and unusual. And he kind of smiles and Anna at that. And you give me a perception check.
That's good.
Okay, will you stop having your dice bounce?
Can't I take that down? That's a 13. Hero point. Hero point it. I'll hero point it.
You're doing 3. Okay, go ahead.
What?
This is just your third roll for this one.
What? Do you want me to count that 13?
Take
I'm more than happy
all
to
the
take.
D6s out of your tray.
They're all along one side. I thought it'd be safe there. 13.
Okay.
Again.
So let's stick with that one, shall
All
we?
right. And it was perception. So 26.
Okay. You do see a slight little girlish smile on Anna's face.
So I just used a hero point to tell that Anna feels flattered. Gotcha.
She's a little like,
Chat, please help me. I just wasted a hero point.
you wasted a hero point.
If
Bouncing
you can,
dice havoc. Seriously.
reward.
I don't, but
The cooldown should be done.
somebody besides Synth Knight, because I don't think Synth
I
Knight
don't
can
think
do
you
it
can do it.
again.
I
I
don't
think
know
you
if
can
you
only
can do
do
it
it
more
one
than
per
once.
session.
A session's up. Dang.
If anybody else is out there.
That felt like a waste. All right.
But you do see that she's a little bit taken with this guy.
Okay.
But he does kind of turn to address her and says, I am sorry, but I seem to be talking all about myself. What are your names? Can I have that very small pleasure at least?
Of course. My name is Aas. I am work with Sir Michael. He trades in fabrics, gowns, and such, and made many of the gowns for this evening, including this beautiful gown right here.
And Anna kind of like looks down a little bit, slightly embarrassed to be kind of the center of attention at the moment, but then does look up at him and smiles, and she says, "Yes, Sir Michael is quite a wonderful person, and he offered to let me wear this for the evening, as we are two individuals that found ourselves here slightly passing through. But my name is Anna."
We are in a similar situation as yourself. And I got his name, right?
Yes. I'm trying to remember it.
In the notes.
I didn't write it down.
Did you just make this guy
Yes.
up? Right
No,
now?
I just made the name up. It was and okay, I will rewatch that part and I will get the name for you. You guys, I'm not a perfect DM. Not a perfect DM.
So I know he went with he came in with Varsnarsel.
Yeah, he was given the ticket by him. Let's just call him Andy for the moment.
Andy? That's a very nice name.
Yep, Synth Knight can't drop another one, I told you.
All right. Well, it has been a interesting pleasure.
Absolutely. Anna, would you do me the pleasure of dancing with me? And Anna kind of blushes a little bit and she's like, and she looks at you to make sure that you're okay with it, like her not being with you, but you can tell she wants to go dance with this guy.
And Az will nod and say,
And so she's like, yes, of course. Thank you.
do I need to roll a deception check for that one?
Are you deceiving?
A little.
Okay,
He's not quite okay with it. He doesn't trust this guy.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
That's an 11 plus 12, so a 23.
Okay. Anna knows you pretty well, so she can kind of see that you're not totally comfortable with it, but she believes you when you say it's fine.
Yeah.
So she's gonna She's gonna go off, and you watch them as they walk through the crowd, and you see there are heads turning. Pretty much every single person they walk by, heads turn towards Ana.
And as will, at the moment when she's about to start dancing, he will. Let me see. Is that touch? Let me see if this spells touch or not. No, it's 30 feet. I will cast guidance on her to help her with her ability to dance.
Nice.
Don't want her falling down, so it gives her a +1 on her roll.
Okay.
Considering that she has no performance, does she?
She really doesn't, and she is now going to roll for this.
Also,
Please don't be bad.
yeah.
Oh! That's a 17. That's not bad.
18 then.
That's not bad. Yeah. Okay. So for her, that's not bad. So she does stumble a little bit. But she does. Her partner is very good at guiding her, and so she doesn't totally mess everything up.
This time, I'm gonna look over at Vashnar still, and I want to see his reaction to this.
Okay. You see. Give me a perception check.
18 plus my 13, so 31.
Okay. You see a series of emotions flit over his face in very rapid succession. At first, it's surprise, and then concern, and then he folds his arms and kind of settles back just a little bit in his stance, and there is pleasure.
Pleasure.
Mm-hmm. Like being pleased with the situation.
And as well, seeing this, he's gonna walk over to Vashnar still.
Okay.
And see, he walks up. He'll stand over next to him, kind of that inconspicuous as he walks over, and then just say, "They dance well together."
He kind of turns to look at you and says,
Yes, it appears to be so.
Forgive me. I am Aas. I am a friend and colleague of Sir Michael, and was invited tonight.
As, I was under the impression that Az was in Asmia.
Do I look like an Asmia?
Decidedly no.
Sometimes equal gossip is that.
Interesting.
I understand you are. What's his station?
he's a merchant. He doesn't really have a station.
He's not Duke. He's not Baron.
You're talking about Vashnar still.
Yes.
I thought you were talking about that guy. He is a Baron.
Baron. You are Baron Vashnar still. Your family is responsible for the fleets of ships that bring in everything to Kintargo.
Oui, we are.
It is a true pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Oui, I imagine it is.
And then as we'll look back over at the dance, I understand that he came here with you tonight.
Yes,
Andy. We can't remember his name.
he is a family friend, and his parents would want me to look out for him, so he is here.
Well, Ana is one of my dearest friends, and I'm glad that they are. I was concerned this is. She has not had the opportunity for many balls, and so I'm glad to see that she is with someone who knows how to lead in the dance.
You see him look out at the ball, or look out at the two of them dancing, and there's a very slight smile that flits over his face, and he says,
Yes, they do make a handsome couple.
Well, good evening.
Good evening.
And as we'll walk away.
And as soon as you walk away, are you watching him Like, are you leaving in a way that you're kind of keeping him in a periphery, or?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You do see as Dominic Halturo actually comes over to him and stands next to him for a few moments, and they discuss something, and then Dominic leaves, and
like leaves or just like
leaves the goes to he moves away from Vashnarstil. He's not leaving.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
But Vashnar still does then turn, and he does leave. You see him walk out the door of the ballroom.
Interesting. Are there drinks? Like, I imagine people are...
Yep, there's lots of drinking.
Where does Dominic go after?
Dominic goes back up to the Domina.
Back to the Domina. Okay. All right. So he's
And
not
he
really
is
accessible.
there. Not
right.
really. The dance ends, and Anna comes back over, and the young man does deposit her back over by you and gives her a bow and kisses her hand very lightly and says, well, hopefully we will meet again. And she kind of giggles a little bit. And you're kind of surprised. You haven't really seen this side of Anna before.
And as will say, it was a beautiful dance. You lead well.
And she's like, well, I was trained from a very young age. My mother would not have it any other way.
Are you long in Ravenel? Or?
I'm just passing through. I should be gone in the next few days.
Well, pleasure. And Az puts out his hand for a handshake.
And he kind of gives his, and Okay, go ahead.
And Az is not trained in athletics.
No, he is not.
That's a 14.
It's not bad. You do squeeze his hand a little tight, and he kind of looks at you. And you guys are about the same height.
Yeah, we're kind of...
And so there's a little bit of a male dominance thing happening here right
we
now.
go.
But he doesn't really squeeze back all that much. And so once you let go, you can see he kind of flexes his hand a little bit. And he says, well, it was wonderful to meet you. Looks at Anna, and he says, hopefully I will see you again. And she smiles, and she says, well, we're staying with Sir Michael, so if you do drop by, that would be fine. She's very awkward. And he does a little bow and walks away. And she's kind of just standing there, watching him walk away.
You danced very well.
Thank you. He did most of the leading, actually. I didn't really have any idea what I was doing.
How are your feet?
Surprisingly, they're all right. But, and she kind of looks at the clock above the doors, and she says to you, do we have to stay for much longer?
No.
Unless, did you have more that you needed?
Give me a few moments, and I want to look around for where. So I've made some contact with Vashnarstil. Don't know where he went. And then the other one is, where's Haltero?
Haltero?
Yeah, where's he at?
You have not seen him.
Really? Mm-hmm. As will make his way. I saw Vashnarstil leave.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Did I see which door he left out of?
Yes, he left out of the main ballroom doors.
Are there guards, or where's Ulfric?
Ulfric, you haven't seen Ulfric.
Really? He's one of the main guards, and she didn't have him there? Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yep.
I'll walk towards the main doors and look for any servants that were there. Generally, there's someone watching the doors and stuff like that. And he'll lean over to the servant, pull out a gold piece, because this is young, and just say, I was looking for the Count Baron. I need to write down.
Baron Vashnarstil, Count, excuse me, not Count.
Countess.
Baron. Nope, so they're both barons.
I was
Baron
looking for
Haltero.
the Baron Vashnarstil, but he appears to have left. Did you see where he went? And slide them stealthily. Do you want me to do a stealth check? It's a 10, but I still have a 12
Yeah.
on my my stealth there.
If anybody was really looking,
Yeah.
they'd be able to see. But I mean, everybody is in the middle of the ball. Like they're not going to be paying attention to this. And the servant does take the gold piece and kind of he nods and he says, "Yes, the Baron Vashnar still did leave just a few minutes ago.
Which way? Did he go out the main?
He called for his carriage, and I believe he left.
Yes. Oh,
If you need to catch him, he might still be out there waiting for it to be called around.
I will go check. Anna,
Yes.
would you mind coming?
Sure.
And I'm gonna kind of lead her and then get kind of around the corner. And then where do I have it? There it is. And then we'll say, we need to see why he left. Do you ready to take off the shoes?
Yes. Can we go get my I want my suit of armor and my sword.
I don't think we can do that quite yet. But for the moment, and I'm gonna cast invisibility sphere.
Okay.
And then have us both walk invisible down to where the carriages would have been and stuff like that to see if he's there.
Okay. You walk down and you do see he is standing there with a servant, and the sound of horse hooves are coming. So you know the carriage is coming around, but he is just standing there.
And then while I'm here and invisible, I am going to... Oh, wait. I think that... Let me see. Is that a concentration? No, it's just a duration. All right, so I don't have to sustain it. And I'm going to cast Read Mind reading on him.
Okay.
To see if I can read what's on his mind at the moment. So he's a
What is his DC?
will save. DC on this is 22.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
He's got to beat a 22.
He does not.
All right, so what did he get? Because it's different
13.
things. Got 13? That's enough, though, to where it's just a failure. It's not a critical failure. So all I'd get is surface thoughts, like what he's focusing on at the moment. And I can find out whether his intelligence modifier is higher than mine. Which my intelligence...
Which is your modifier?
My intelligence modifier is 3, plus 3. So I have 16.
Okay. His modifier is 2.
Right. So I'm smarter than
So
he
you're
is.
smarter than he is. The thoughts that you're picking up from him are like, why is it taking so long? What is happening? I wonder if they're still waiting. We have to move quickly. Like stuff like that.
Okay. So there are people he's meeting right now.
The carriage does come around the corner and stops in front of the count, or excuse me, the Baron, and he climbs up into the carriage and begins to leave. The carriage begins to leave the estate grounds.
The carriage. What's it built like?
It's a fairly standard, like nobleman's carriage. It's very nice. It has a rider on top who is in charge of the horses, the 2 horses, large wheels. It's a standard carriage.
Okay. I'm going to turn to Anna. Anna, do you think we could jump on the back?
Are you kidding me?
We're invisible.
Yes, but our weight isn't.
I don't think they'll notice. I mean, it'll bump, but then there won't be anything there. What do you think?
Okay, we could try.
Either that or we have to try and catch him.
Okay, start running.
So we're gonna try and jump?
All right. Yep. So that'll be an athletics.
Yes, and I am not trained in that.
No, you're not.
So let's hope for a high
Okay.
roll. 7.
Okay.
I fall on my face.
Oh, jeez. Anna did the 32.
Wow.
So.
Can she reflex save to catch me when she have...
Well, okay. So she's going to make it.
Yes.
So she's going to run. You are going to leap for the carriage, but your foot accidentally slides on a piece of rock that was loose, and you kind of fall forward. She makes it onto the back, and the entire carriage goes on her weight. But as you said, it wasn't noticed, and she turns around and sees you and is kind of like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. And she, not really knowing what to do, jumps off the back.
No, Anna. No.
Because what is she supposed to do?
As would motion, stay there. Stay there before she jumps off. Can I communicate that to her before she jumps off?
Yes. Okay, so she stays on the cart or the carriage, but it's moving farther and farther away.
That's fine. As will then. Oh, come on! I know I've got it on here. Dang it! I took that off from there. As will then cast haste on himself.
Okay.
So I can run.
Okay.
Fast enough just to keep up for the moment, because they're gonna have to stop soon, and then I can try again.
Okay.
So as I'm gonna keep running.
So you're just gonna run behind. Now invisibility is dropped at this point.
No, it's
right?
10 minutes. It's
just 10 minutes. Okay.
Invisibility.
But it's not. Anna is now out of the sphere, so she's not invisible anymore.
She's not. No.
But you are.
Yes.
So you run. Once they get to the guardhouse, they do have to slow momentarily.
And that's what I'll jump on.
Okay, so
and I'll do that one. I'll do that one stealthily.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a check then, a stealth check.
It's 5 plus 11, so 16.
Yeah, you still are not able to get up on the. Anna reaches out for you to try and get you.
Well, no, like as it slows, I just run up and hop on there. I mean, it wouldn't be much of an athletics check at that point, would it?
Well, that's still like. Well.
Like I'm holding on to the back. I'm not jumping on top.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Anna reaches her arm out for you. But never mind, she doesn't. You're invisible. She can't see you. So suddenly, you do manage to grab up on the side and swing yourself up over, and she startles slightly and squeals a little bit and is sitting on the back. As soon as you jump onto the back, the guards that would have seen Anna just a second later as the carriage goes through do not see her.
Yes, because she's invisible now.
Because she is now invisible, and we are going to stop there for the night.
All right.
I did not realize what time it was. So
Late
we're
night.
going to end that for the
Yes.
evening. Thank you so much for staying with us and
As
hanging
we're riding,
out.
hanging on to the back of the carriage.
Yep. Next week will be our final episode with this story arc.
You think we'll get there? You think we'll get that finished?
Yeah, we are. We definitely are. So
come join us next week.
Come hang for our series, not series.
Our arc final.
Our arc finale.
The climax.
The climax of the story arc. It's very exciting. We've got a lot of political intrigue and fun craziness that's going on, and who knows really who is the bad guy at this point.
So be sure to join us next week. Thank you so much for those that stayed late. We know it's late.
I know.
You are so wonderful. We love you all so much.
Yep, we really do. Thank you so much. And since we're already up, we'll take first watch.
Good night.
Good night, you guys.